All right, are we ready to rock?
Yeah.
Are you a goofy goober?
I am
I'm
a goofy goober.
yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's right.
We're all goofy goobers, yeah.
We really are.
We
if you
are.
think about it. And so are all of you. Hello and welcome to Super Gamecast, your source for video game and video game industry news.
Super Gamecast.
Gamecast. My name's Aaron. I'm joined by Bronson and Duncan. How you do, guys?
Doing good, man. It's been an active, busy week. I played a lot of video games this week, actually.
I can tell. You're just sitting in the dark like, I've been playing video games. I've seen them all.
I did.
Well, you know, I think he sensed that we did not play as much, and so he had to overcompensate. That's just how.
It's not that I didn't spend a lot of time playing video games. I just played two video games.
He played the two video games
a lot.
Yeah.
Got it.
And for you know, most of that time's really just been me in Discord calls watching other people play Mega Bonk.
All right, that's one way to do it, I guess.
You know, there's a number of people who are engaged in video games, and all they do is watch other people play video games, and that's not, you know.
Good for them, man. I wish I could be that person.
Well, he's been going for a world top ranking in Mega Bonk.
Okay.
And he's been streaming it too, because he's a World of Warcraft streamer, and so he during his streams, like anytime there's downtime, he pulls Megabonk up and then just continues Megabonk runs that he's grinding out.
Yeah.
And then even when he's not streaming, he's in a Discord call grinding out Megabonk runs.
Oh my god.
It's just been 24/7.
24/7. Mega Bonk. It will take us all over.
The bonkiest of megas.
Sure is.
But before we can get into what we've been playing, we need to go through the news.
We need to go through the news. This is a video game news show, and my God, there actually was some stuff that happened that some of it we don't want to go over, but we gotta, because it's important for us to know that these things are happening.
It's important.
Talking in the pre-show was a lot of us going, these stories suck and I don't want to talk about them.
But we gotta. It's important.
It's important. It is important that the people know. The people must know.
So leading to our first unpleasant story.
I get my most unpleasantness out in the front.
Dan
you get the Band-Aid ripped off.
Emiru's TwitchCon assault, and says it's a challenge in today's society and not limited to Twitch.
Great
this statement's kind of crazy. This statement's kind of.
This is. For those of you that don't know, Twitch streamer Emiru was at TwitchCon last week. It was, doing photo ops and whatnot, and some dude just like barnstorms the line, cuts the line, goes up to her and tries to kiss her.
So and there's some further details that makes it a bit worse too. Is that she was doing a meet and greet. And the reason she was doing a meet and greet is because even though she didn't want to, and she kind of cited security concerns as a reason she didn't want to, as she has a history of stalkers that she's dealt with, she was forced to do this meet and greet to keep a show that she was doing at TwitchCon happening. So they wouldn't allow her to run her produced show unless she did a meet and greet at the event.
Oh, that's
then the guy was despite people mentioning security concerns to Twitch for many years now at their TwitchCon events, to the point where Emiru and many other female streamers have brought their own security, and Emiru's own security was present there. In the clip, you can see a guy who immediately comes up and just like launches the dude halfway across the room. That was Emiru's private security that she had hired, because security concerns and events like this happening was already something they were very worried about at TwitchCon. Emiru's prior security the year before was actually banned from the event because a separate stalking incident happened where the man had to physically remove the person doing it, and that security guard was permanently banned from Twitch events for removing the stalker at the prior event. So this was a different security guard that she would have liked to use. So Twitch has tons of problems with security concerns. And further, their initial response once the event happened was that they 30-day banned the guy from Twitch.
Good job, guys. You did
it. That was the response. After the 30-day ban, they go, they're like, what the fuck? You're not doing anything about this guy. They get, you're right. Permanent ban on Twitch.
Permanent ban. There we go.
All right.
But then they're all like, that's also not enough. You should be working with the police. Further, it took the guy fully escaped the event without security doing a single thing. There was videos caught of him just leaving the venue right after, perfectly fine.
Security. I thought they got hold of him like after like 30 minutes. Like, I thought that's
it was over an hour and a half later, and it was outside of the event.
Oh, that's real bad.
The Twitch staff on site were apparently heard by people around Emiru joking and laughing about the scenario, and the head of security that day was busy at a after party for TwitchCon.
That's amazing. So Emiru recounts the story here. I see out of the corner of my eye, there's a guy walking around the side of the meet and greet, and he crosses in front of me in the meet and greet to the person left of me, which is a VTuber. So to walk up in front of another streamer's meet and greet, then he walks up to me. He's walking with a purpose, and he leans in like he's going to tell me something. So maybe it's like he's TwitchCon staff or something. But I'm freaked out because he grabbed me. That's not normal. And then he grabs my face and leans in, lips puckered, and tries to kiss me, and I start screaming. You can't hear in the clip, but I'm fucking screaming my head off. Twitch security is nowhere near me, and I can see them, but they don't do anything. My security jumps up and shoves the guy away from me, and he's allowed to walk away and leave. No one in Twitch staff came up to me to see what's going on. No one was checking on me to see if I was okay or needed anything, and they let the guy run away initially. I have no idea what anyone hired to keep the event safe was doing. So yes.
Not doing the one job they have.
Yeah. And then
Dan Clancy's response to this is that he says, well, you can block people on Twitch, and I think that we're really leading in the industry for ability to handle these sorts of things. It's just such an unaddressing response, because his response was to go, here's what we do on platform to deal with like managing your audience, which to be fair, they do have good audience management tools, right? That's fine. That just wasn't the issue here, though. The issue was TwitchCon security, and that they've had problems with for many years, and they're still not addressing.
Right. And then in this particular case, it's like, dude, that's not the problem here, right? Emiru does confirm she is pressing charges. Dan Clancy, of course, has his fucking tweet, that we talked about in the title of the story.
Yep.
Dude, I don't like, what the fuck?
What are you doing? What the fuck is happening?
Like, and the thing is like we know people who have worked in these like con staffs before, and I could not imagine this happening at a PAX. I cannot imagine this happening in Evo. I cannot. What the fuck?
Yeah, the truth is that like sexual harassment and assault happens at these events, and they absolutely should not, and every action should be taken to stop it. But this is by far the most blatant I've seen.
If I could introduce a bit of info on a second story, actually, here that I think is really relevant that we should bring up.
Okay.
Just the other day, Wolfie VGC, the #1 Pokemon player, announced that he's actually no longer going to in-person events on account of the fact that he's been groped multiple times at every in-person event that he's gone to.
Yeah.
Yep.
God damn.
I will say, like, people, stop being fucking weird.
Stop being fucking shitty, awful people.
Yeah, deal.
Stop doing that as well. But like, for real though, stop being fucking weird. Like, look, do not grab a fucking Pokemon YouTuber's Twitch streamer's ass because you're at a meet and greet. Do not try and go up and kiss the fucking cosplay streamer girl. Like, you do not know these people. These are not your personal acquaintances. Like, look, all streaming, all content creation at this level is a little parasocial, but like, you gotta keep it in your mind, dog, that this is not, that you don't have that relationship with them.
I mean, yeah, part of the fundamental nature of content creation is that you're displaying a part of your personal self publicly for people to develop a relationship with, right? Like the process of being a viewer for somebody is developing a bit of you're developing a personal relationship with them that is obviously lopsided because they don't know who you are, right? But that's true of all of us for everybody we regularly view. That if you consider yourself a fan of somebody, that's somebody that you've created a relationship with. That it's this sort of thing that for just a certain percentage of people, it's going to be something they can't healthily manage and be extremified, right?
Well, and I, I think a perfect example of this is like, Aaron and I both were big fans of Giant Bomb. You're probably a little parasocial with Giant Bomb in that instance. Absolutely.
I'm a huge fan of Castle Super Beast, right? And they've got a ton of stuff talking about like them raising their kids, and like they talk a lot about their personal lives. And there's this concept about podcasts, right? Like I'm a big fan of the Yard podcast, right? And these podcasts are kind of like friend simulators, right? Where it's the same vibe that you get just chilling out with some friends, shooting the shit, is what a lot of podcasts are giving. And you're replicating that feeling, but on demand and to a lesser extent, right?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that my real friends that I do that with, I love them, and we have strong personal relationships. I can show up to a friend's house depending on who they are and how close we are, and that's like a normal thing to do, right? And some people get to the point with their viewership where they feel like they have that level of closeness with this figure because they're having that experience in absence of that available in the rest of their life. And it's something about the absence of that and like that human desire or those kind of things. It just pumps that up strongly, and you end up having those same feelings of familiarity that you do with an actual close friend, with a figure that knows who you are. And if someone who has difficulty managing your own, you just have some kind of mental blockage that prevents you from really like having a concept of the boundaries of your own actions, that leads to these sorts of things happening where you're doing something that you absolutely cannot do to a figure. And that's not even in this case, because in this case, this is probably a person that's fully mentally ill, delusional,
so what I was going to say is
and thinks that they are like in kind of relationship.
Aaron, go ahead.
So I think that is a very real problem, but I also think this is similar but an opposite extreme at the same time, where I think there are a lot of people who view particularly women as objects of entertainment in engaging with these, and so gets very attached, but isn't seeing them as an equal level human, and like seeing this person in person does not grant them that equal respect status. You are the object of my entertainment, and I'm going to treat you as such.
And I think another part of this is like also, there's a lot of people these days who are like very socially stunted, and not in like he's a little awkward but weird, but he's fine way, like dangerously so. And that's why you're seeing this more, because this shit kind of always existed at cons. Like, I was going to cons all the way back in like '07, '08. Like, this shit was always there.
Right,
But
cons have those signs up nowadays that like cosplay isn't consent because like it was so common for cosplayers to be assaulted.
Yes, like, but like not to this degree. And it definitely wasn't happening to the guests even. You know, and like I just think that, you know, people's ability to socialize for one reason or another, I think COVID is a contributing factor to it. Kind of fucked people up in a way, and you know, shit like this is happening more.
It's no
social media as well
that women as content creators, by comparison to men as content creators, deal with way more stalkers. Right, and you know, part of that is, as you said, that kind of that dehumanization. But you know, there's kind of gendered pressures in society on like romantic engagement, and you know, a lot of men are put in this weird position where they're like, there's a lot of pressure to them for them to engage romantically, and also at the very least perceived lopsided advantage for women in the dating market that makes it so that they feel kind of hopeless about dating. And there's a number of people, because a lot of these stalkers are very mentally ill, and that they are forming a fake romantic relationship in their mind with the person in question, and that's very commonly the case for these stalking incidents with female streamers, where they will have someone who is in a full deluded reality where they think that they do have a relationship with this person and that these actions are totally fine, and that there's like a grand conspiracy preventing them from interacting in person or something, and they justify them coming in person and like trying to kiss them as though they're like, oh, they're in love with me too, but you know, just the people around them or this or that, and you know, it's I think it's less. Well, there is a societal factor. I think obviously the gender divide in it is clearly indicative of societal pressures.
Well, I mean, yeah, like how many times do you see fucking people bitching about anytime an attractive woman streams, like, oh, it's an unfair advantage, blah, 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 blah. Even though most of the top streamers, like, I think in the top 100 streamers last I saw, like 5 were women. Like,
yeah, it's a very small proportion of top streamers are women. There's a reality that as social media has gotten more people involved, you know, these mentally ill people existed before they were doing this to streamers, right? There have been stalking stories for forever, and this same mental archetype is something that already was a thing that people were, that people were talking about. They were already worried about people who were creating fake relationships in their mind and then assaulting people that were just real humans in real life that they were following around. And you know, the advent of social media, you get access to tons of people who are really attractive, right? Like you get access to viewing people that are way more attractive than are in your normal life, and way more potential victims for you to direct this mental illness towards, and it sucks. It sucks, and it's why it's so important, especially for a convention that is centered around personalities, to have lots and lots of security, right?
And security that actually does something. Like security that actually does something. I feel like that's
a convention at Comic-Con isn't about the guests, right? The guests are obviously a huge component, but Comic-Con isn't solely about its guests. It's about the entire media sphere that people are there to engage with, right? Or like Anime Expo, right? Like Anime Expo is about anime. It's not about anime influencers, even though they're present.
Like PAX is about video games. Like, yes,
exactly. Security is incredibly important at those events as well, but it's just so much more important when an event is specifically about people that are incredibly vulnerable to this kind of parasocial interaction. And it sucks that this is not being acknowledged and this is an issue.
I cannot believe how much they are blowing it off.
Yep.
Is like this is a challenge to today's society and not limited to just Twitch. Like
You're not the CEO of larger society. You're the CEO
You're
of
the
Twitch.
CEO
What are you going to do about
Right.
what's happening at TwitchCon?
Right,
Yeah,
and VidCon isn't having this issue, right?
Yeah, yeah,
the
you're not-
creators
you're
and
not-
TikTokers at VidCon aren't getting assaulted. And it's because they have better security.
You know, you're not seeing this happen at, you know, Evo. You're not seeing fucking, you know, like anyone getting assaulted at Evo. You know, you're not
Right.
seeing it at PAX. You're not seeing it at Anime Expo. You're not seeing it at any place where, you
Apparently
know,
you are seeing it at every single Nintendo tournament.
yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on there, but that's a different story. You know, like that's, I don't know what is with the Splatoon thing,
What?
or is this is this a Pokemon thing?
This is
Oh,
a
the Pokemon thing. Rather. Oh, okay, yeah.
The number one Pokemon player, Wolfie
Yeah,
VGC.
okay, we mentioned earlier. Yeah,
That's sad. Okay.
yeah. Like
He's no longer attending in-person events, including the World Championships.
That's the end result, right? Is like if you're not going to ensure people's safety, these people aren't going to come, and they'll be right to do so. And then that makes the event much less fun. It ensures that we get the creeps there and not the people that we're celebrating. And it just
you
sucks
skew
for
your
everyone.
population negative.
Yeah,
just turned into a Creep Con.
right.
CreepCon 2025.
And then you
just
get
a
to play
bunch of
this game
dudes.
of like, all right, so you have no one to creep on at this event. How can I tell you're one of the creeps? You're one of the people that made it this way. How do I figure this out?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, but that's that story.
Let's get to the next. Let's get to the next one. We got Aaron's band-aid off. Let's get to the next one.
Yeah, for the most part, yes. This next story. Whoops, I had the wrong title up. We're fine. We're okay. The Razer ad happened.
Mr. hates women. Let's go.
Which is hilarious because they have a bunch of equipment marketed towards women.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's how it goes. Yep.
So Razer posted an ad on TikTok that I unfortunately have not been able to find without someone talking over it.
I did. Without someone talking over it. I have this muted, so.
Play it.
I'll go ahead and play it.
Go ahead and play it.
So,
yeah, run it.
Yeah,
run
this
it.
is this is muted, and to be fair, a lot of this is about noise canceling. So
So basically, it is an ad of this dude playing a game with his new Razer headphones, and his girlfriend is talking to him about something, and then he turns on active noise canceling to block it out.
So yeah.
Boy, them women are naggy. Am I right, boy?
So this is the thing. I think there's a way to pull this off. There's a way to pull off the nagging partner thing. You have to be like smart about it, and they just went lazy. They said, "Oh yeah, nagging wife. Hate wife."
Honestly, no. Here's what fixes it: nagging mom. Now it's classic.
Yeah,
gamer.
there you go. Yeah,
Classic gamer shit. You put nagging mom, and it becomes like those T-shirts that you buy for kids, like the you look like just enough XP for me to level up.
Yeah,
it's still cringe, but it doesn't come off as alien. Like, cause man, when you go on Razer's website, like they have like so much stuff targeted at, you know, like largely women. Like they got the pink keyboard and the pink headphones and the headphones with the cat ears.
You can see the production quality on this, though. It's not like clearly they have an agency that they went, hey, can you make us an ad campaign? And then that agency isn't even making the content. They went clearly to people on TikTok that make TikTok sketches. Can you make some Razer ads for us? And then they had a poor vetting process. They probably didn't even make it up to anyone at Razer. And then they put it out, and now the controversy is hitting Razer.
I don't think that is the case, because like every major corporation I have been at, when it comes to putting something out for marketing, it's like fucking goes through like 80 rungs of people Like getting one TikTok out at my last job was like it was going through 4 people.
When you're such a large company though that is doing this at a bigger scale, it's kind of, I feel like it's pretty common to be like, we're paying this ad agency, we're going to trust them to not be ridiculous.
Right? See, like, the thing there though is then that ad agency needs to be fired.
Yeah, they probably are. They probably have.
And the thing is I don't know if Razer does their ads in house. That's another thing because some companies do. But
this is clearly not in house though. I mean, their marketing might be done in house. But the production is clearly this is just a guy that makes TikToks.
I don't know. Like,
I think I see a Razer arcade cabinet in the back.
Yeah. Like this looks like this could be a Razer's
very small.
office.
I'm not sure. Or there's a Razer
and that's
chair.
Also, and then there's very much like.
Oh yeah,
like,
it could be.
Yeah. This looks
just
like
2 Razer employees.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah. That's the only evidence I have, but yeah.
It's just a really stupid internal decision.
Right, yeah.
This some social media manager got fired. So if you're looking for a job as a social media manager, check Razer's page.
Razer probably has an opening.
Yeah, because like, dude, especially like once again, you go on you go on there and they have their whole Razer Quartz edition with all pink stuff. They're the cat ear headphone people.
They are the cat ear people. Maybe they don't have an opening though. Maybe the fact that we're talking about it at all, they went, good job, man.
It's totally possible.
Good job.
Yeah, totally possible.
I don't know. Razer is a company that does seem like no press is good press, or all press is good press, because their recent Blade 16 laptops have like numerous problems and also have had become there was a whole string of tech YouTubers this past summer who put out videos about how the Blade 16 is a piece of shit.
Right.
So, take that how you will.
I mean, I imagine they don't make shitty products to have shitty press about how shitty their products are.
I'm surprised this is internal because there's just it's just not something you should be leaving internal. You should hire a marketing agency and have them go do it.
Or if you are going to do it internal, because I am a big believer in doing most of your business fucking internally and just hiring the right people for it. But even if you are, how did this not go through 3 or 4 people to go and not a single one of them say, this is a bad look? You should, because I'm gonna be real. I did some marketing at my last job, and if I was the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th person in the chain, my first response would have been, "This comes off as a little sexist." Not gonna lie.
I'm just sitting here coming up with different ideas of things to do. You could do it where women are chatting about Love Island or whatever that show is called, and they're just chatting, and then you turn it off, and then it cuts to a girl with the headset on, and guys are talking about sports, and she turns it on.
Yes, absolutely.
There's another one where people are nagging him, and then he turns it on, and then things get worse and worse. You have 10 days to vacate your apartment. Turn it on, and you could be really funny with it. There's a number of ways you could have done this.
So the caption for the TikTok was, "Don't let yapping get in the way of your winning."
There was a way. You went the laziest possible route, just fucking throw it out there.
Yeah. Just I get it's a TikTok. Nobody cares. Which, to be fair, I do feel like a lot of, and I ran into this in my last job, is a lot of executives and older people at companies do not understand the immense fucking power of this shit. They do not understand.
There's a culture thing at a lot of these gaming companies that has been talked about by a lot of people that's worked at them. Like Twitch, in fact, is another company that has.
Yeah, it's a lot of dude, bro.
Having it's very relaxed dude culture. And I wouldn't be surprised if this social media manager, probably the guy in the video, it just doesn't have oversight on the TikTok page. He literally is just given access to the TikTok page and he can just put stuff up on it, and he doesn't have oversight until he messes up, and then his boss gets in and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's and once again, maybe just the companies that I was at were strict, but it's just like it's like no, like everything had to go through an approval process. I think there was one type of content that didn't need an approvals process. In my case, so I guess maybe
Schreier put out that book about Blizzard, and Blizzard was a company that very much had this issue of people just having access to stuff and very little oversight on a lot of things. And then Twitch is another company. The streamer Atrioc has talked about it a lot. He was former marketing at Twitch, and before he moved to NVIDIA, and he just describes an environment where people just work. It was super relaxed. People were just completely checked the fuck out. And I would not be surprised to hear that about Razer.
I mean, yeah, and you heard all the kinds of things about Razer and its interactions with its customers. Unless you're an influencer, then they'll fucking hype you up. So this does not surprise me. It's just like, man, I just don't understand how a company that big does this. The response has been negative. Someone says, "Well, guess I'm done with Razer after 15 years. I just put my Razer headphones in a bin." And the casual misogyny is insane. TikTok users are going to other Razer videos to express their discontent, including a comment on the company's Razer Kuromi headset reading, "Razer sexist, by the way." GameSpot reached out to Razer for comment, in which they have not responded yet. So
it's a fun one.
I think it's also just points to a reality of 2025, going back to all press is good press, is like, this has been the year of, I guess we're just embracing, being kind of shitty, because the people who are shitty will buy our stuff, and then the people who are not shitty will share our stuff and talk about how it's shitty, and then spread it to more shitty people.
Well, further, people who do think we're shitty will probably still buy our stuff.
A certain percentage, for sure, right? Like,
yeah, we've seen, especially in gaming, that boycotts are just the limpest thing possible. Nobody is properly engaging in boycotts in gaming, and so I don't expect Razer to be affected almost at all by this.
We have said it for years. Every game in the boycott is a 2-minute trailer away from being over.
Which, to be fair, Razer is not like a franchise, like a game franchise that people are attached to, but it does have just a strong gaming brand identity that few match.
And to be fair, I am currently using one of their keyboards and one of their mouse, and I've had good experiences across the board.
Yeah, that's weird. I've always heard bad things about. I'm glad they're working for you, I guess, but
yeah, all my Razer stuff has been shit, and I don't use it anymore.
The only thing I've had bad experience with Razer is their headphones. I've had their headphones break on multiple occasions, and they're terrible. But their MMO mouse going strong, their keyboard going strong. So I can't, so
okay.
Take that you will. But yeah, the next time I buy a mouse and keyboard, I might be looking elsewhere.
That's the thing. This goes back to what we've talked about before, where it's like boycott as like an action to try and change a company's opinion, specifically in the gaming industry, does not work. Instead, it's like, okay, I'm just not going there permanently. I can cut this. The mindset has to be, I'm cutting this brand out of my list of options.
Well, and further, it has to be easy to do, right? There's a reality that you run into with specifically with purchasing video games in general, that most games have a company that has done something horrible behind it.
Yeah.
Right? They have like Saudi Arabia ownership, and are directly connected to the Saudi Arabian royal family, who has like murdered journalists openly, right? And so right? Like, a lot of like Evo is in the process of possibly being purchased by the Saudi Arabian royal family, and like you could go, okay, I'm going to avoid that, and then if you actually go through the process of pointing at every single game you have that has something horrible behind it, it's like 70 to 80% of your library. And
then
work you have to do to know all the companies that have done all the bad things and what they've done and why you shouldn't use them, and the amount of just the general fatigue it would cause. It is easier to not play video games at all than it is to know and avoid the games that are made by bad people.
Yeah, and you have to pick and choose your battles. I think that, like, in my case, like, it was Ubisoft. I was like, they're ethically shit. Yeah. They make the same game over and over and over again. I can completely cut Ubisoft out of my life.
Right, but that's what I'm saying with it has to be easy to do also, because you stopped liking Ubisoft games. And so when the games got shit, then it becomes easy to enforce your moral position on Ubisoft. But Blizzard is evil, but you love WoW. And it's kind of like, it's hard.
But when they got too evil, even when Burning Crusade Classic was going on, I left. I went to go play 14 and other shit. You know, like that's the thing. I think there's a breaking point for most people of how much evil you're allowed.
I think Battlefield 6 is a big example right now, because that came out around the time that this purchase of EA happened.
Yeah, like EA, like Battlefield 6, that purchase happened around the same time. It's like, well, I'm gonna keep playing it, but other EA products, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, EA is now literally owned by the people technically responsible for 9/11. Like how does it? Yeah. How do you get worse than that?
So in talking about boycotting and all this, how do you figure this out? I think right now, my game that I've been waiting for forever, my Desert Island game, Skate, is out. I paid money before the purchase was known, and now I'm not paying any money. I'm playing it, but I'm not paying any money.
I mean, that's me with Battlefield. Like, I paid for the $70 for the game, and I'm not paying for anything in it.
Right. But here's the thing: is if Skate is not profitable for these companies that are buying them for profit, which Skate is not going to be that. It's just not. It isn't. And if that goes under, and Skate ends because it got bought by them, my strategy is indie games and near indie games. I'm just avoiding all the big groups that could be bought and all that, and then just.
Well, like even indie games have murky shit come out of them.
Of course, yes.
They're
not getting away from it entirely.
I'll play Skullgirls. Oh no!
But like, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to pull up Peak and then find out they committed war crimes. They'll do bad stuff, and then I can move on, and I can limit the amount of bad shit I support.
But like in the case of Peak could totally have a Skullgirl situation.
It probably won't. Yes. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying these are going to be perfect forever. What I'm saying is, in managing, who I get involved with, I can keep that damage to a minimum. And
absolutely. I think I think a perfect example of this with Razer is there's so many different headphone alternatives, keyboard alternatives, mice alternatives,
it's easy
everything to make. Yeah, like it's the same thing with like Bose. Bose recently did a thing where they are disabling their application for certain pieces of hardware, certain smart speakers, and because of that, you won't be able to do EQ on them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or stream directly to them. You'll have to use aux or Bluetooth, which that's fucking crazy that you won't be able to do EQ on your fucking thousands of dollars of smart speakers if you bought them. So what that caused me to do is like, okay, cool. I'm never going to buy a Bose product ever again. I have Bose noise canceling headphones in my travel bag. Cool. You're going to use those till they fall apart. And then, or their app starts supporting it because they can just do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just fuck off and go somewhere else.
Right.
And that's the thing. And it goes back to that there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. So so like that's
And
the end of the day here. Like
my favorite game series is Yakuza, and Sega at one point used the actual Yakuza to kidnap people. But like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
The answer is, again, like, limit as much as you possibly can. And
because I have this thought experiment. Like, okay, what would it take to move most of my like computing stuff to ethical companies when Microsoft was doing its Microsoft things? And I was just like, okay, you'd have to move everything over to Linux. You can run LibreOffice or OpenOffice because you don't want to support Google either. So you have that.
Easy. Got that.
Yeah, Linux has its own stuff.
Linux, whatever. Yeah, but LibreOffice, I think that's just a good choice.
Yeah, that is a good product. Or OpenOffice, that's another good one.
Right.
And then what else do you have? Like, I'm trying to think. GIMP instead of Adobe, Paint.net instead of Adobe, which, yes, it's worse. Yeah. Just seeing
I'll say that I think an important thing for me here, right? Because you have to do a lot of work to find all the options to switch over, but further, I think it's a lot of work to even know the bad things that companies have done, right?
You have to be a show like us that seeks this shit out.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The only reason I'm here knowing about what Microsoft does and what EA is doing, and like the only reason I know these things is because, at least now, before I was just interested, but now I've kind of made a concerted effort to try and not seek out information like this in my life, because it makes your life worse.
It does.
Learning bad stuff all the time is bad.
It's important to have like this section of time to be updated on the bad shit that's happening, and then close it. All right.
Well, yeah. But the entire reason that I'm engaged with this stuff is because I do this show, basically. And if I wasn't doing this show, I would probably just avoid knowing that EA was bought by Saudi Arabia. Right? And then I wouldn't make any consumer decision. I would probably just still play an EA game.
Right.
And that's what they're counting on. That is absolutely what they're counting on.
I think that it's a perfectly reasonable decision for people to make, to go, I'm gonna not make consumer efficacy decisions on account of the fact that it's both asking a lot of me and the required information is bad for me to know, right?
It's good for you to know, but it takes a negative effect on your well-being.
Unless you are very good.
I'll say it's literally bad for you personally.
Right.
Like for you personally, learning these things is bad.
Right.
But it's good in the sense that it is good to like be up to date on the world and have moral positions. But it's bad in the sense that it literally makes your quality of life worse. And at a certain point, I think it's perfectly reasonable for someone to make the decision to prioritize their quality of life over this vague moral sense that they need to be up to date on bad things to avoid helping bad people.
And I also think that like at least for me, unless it gets like it was back in the early part of the year with the current political climate, where every time I looked at my phone, I basically just threw it over my shoulder. I feel like I personally, at least, and maybe it's just because I've done this for 15 years ish now, is like I can compartmentalize it pretty well. Like I can sit here and be like, okay, that's cool, that's important. I have that in my back pocket for when I'm purchasing things. But now I'm not going to worry about it or think about it anymore. I got a home to take care of. I got stuff to make for this channel. I got, I have a relationship to tend to, friends to
helps
to
have
tend
things
to.
going on in your life.
Which
for some of us,
Yep. Some people can't.
It's
I got a house. I got a house. I got to drill holes in. God damn it!
yeah, that's right.
To put
I feel like it's a drug, though. I feel like so like politics. I've been trying to avoid like consuming as much information as I have about it in the past because I can't have a lot of I can't have a lot of personal outsized effect on it, and it feels bad. It feels bad to sit there and think about a bad thing happening in the world. That is on account of people that I disagree with doing things I disagree with.
Yeah.
And I almost can't stay away from it. Like there's too many sources of information that still get it over to me.
Well, and then you have the aspect of people are going to talk about it. Like it's
I know a lot of very, very politically engaged people who are gonna ask my opinion on it. So I'm gonna have to know about it.
So it's this. You have to get the skill of compartmentalizing shit in this day and age. I feel like if you can't do that, you are going to just wither and die.
It's tough though, because we wormed our way over time into needing this, where social media has taken such a grand hold on our lives, combined with the things. I have to severely limit my time on Blue Sky because that's the place where I keep up to date on what's going on politically. And every day I get to watch new videos of people being kidnapped by ICE, and it's just hurts.
I have started having to use the block function on Blue Sky, where I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. They're doing good work, but they're like people who are like documenting all of this and following this, the people who have the skill set and the experience and the knowledge to do this. It's important that they do that work. As nobody like me, I can't. I'm glad I know that now, but I can't help beyond that, and it just sucks to look at all the time. I know I keep it in the back of my head that it's happening, and I occasionally look in to make sure I haven't missed anything weird. But otherwise, I have to severely limit it.
Yeah, and I think I think that's fine. Like, I've definitely started getting better about curating my like Blue Sky feed to be mostly video games. Politics sneak in every now and then. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sorry.
For the most part,
they sneak into video games all the time.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Who knew? Maybe
we're on a news story right now. A little bit of that happening.
Yeah. Yep. So, it's one of those things where like I feel there is. I just feel like there is this. You have to separate. If that means you just gotta withdraw from it for large chunks of time, that's fine. I think having a busy life certainly helps. If you have a lot of shit going on, that certainly helps. Like if you got friends to go, a house to take care of, job that you're really engrossed in. I remember back when I worked in insurance and during open enrollment, I was working like 60 to 80 hours a week. I didn't know about shit about politics during that 3-month period.
Right.
That's what happened. Yeah. Didn't know much about the outside world. All I knew about was selling. So
no, I'm in the middle of. I have to complete the process after this podcast, but I'm in the middle of like I'm going to be taking at least a month-long break from all social media, including YouTube. Like I'm just not gonna engage. Because I just need a complete detox in my life from knowing all the awful shit happening.
That's a very different no nut November.
It really is. No news November. No negativity November. Pretty bad.
Comment in the chat. There's a huge part of why I'm not returning political streaming and still be moving to podcasts about mental health and stuff. Too many people's houses are on fire to be worrying about the world outside.
It's I think there's going to be a growing shift. And I don't think it'll be big enough, but I think there's just a growing shift of people like, all right, we got to get off the internet. we have to get off, like, just for our own sakes until we can handle this.
Yeah, for me, there's definitely been a change in my life where I'm like, I need to be more concerned about my life and my well-being than I need to be about like a moral purity of consumption and engagement. And like, I just need to not think about it. I did not think about it at all. I need to spend less time thinking about politics and evil companies.
Yeah, like, and I think that, you know, in my case, that's mostly relegated to video games, and even that I'm spending more time playing the games themselves than actually and get like my primary engagement is I'll talk to Anthony when a crazy as shit news story happens, or you guys, and then the rest of it's saved for the show. Versus like in the past, I would be just scouring this shit 24/7.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. Anyway,
but
look,
speaking of news stories,
speaking of band-aids we need to rip off.
We need to let's beat the pinata more. The Microsoft beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yeah, we're 2 out of 11 stories in, and I think 5 of them are Microsoft. So let's start. Microsoft report. Microsoft has jacked the price of Xbox dev kits to $2,000.
It almost seems
$1,500. Their cited reason was macroeconomic factors. It is about a 33% increase, of course, 1,500 to 2,000, and there just so happens to be a 30% tariff that applies to the countries that these dev kits are manufactured.
Oh, weird, huh?
Weird how that works. And then on top of all that, like, it almost seems like they're trying to disincentivize you from making games on an Xbox, and you should be making them on a computer.
Yeah, we're going to see a few news stories come up here, and you're going to see puzzle pieces start to come together that was happening this week.
It almost seems like they are going, fuck this closed ecosystem, get these people on Windows. That's kind of my take on this particular one. We can get to the next one.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold back what I'm saying till we see all the pieces, but you can kind of see it with this one story right here.
I'll combo the story. I'll combo the story into the next story because the other story also has a 30% metric on it. Ooh. Microsoft has reported they pushed Xbox Studios to deliver a 30% profit margin, allegedly leading to all the layoffs, canceled projects, price rises, and the end of exclusives.
Does it say when this happened?
So I found that. I went out and looking for that. It was apparently right after the merger. So September of 2023. Awesome. It was right after so what happened is the merger happens, and then the CFO, I think her name is Amy Hood, was like, this is your new target for these games. Which, so a 30% profit margin in video games is crazy. That's almost double what the average is. That's.
I mean, sorry, a 30% profit margin in anything is fucking crazy.
That is, yes, but in video games, to put this in perspective, PlayStation, it's 16%. So they have to be doing almost twice as good on a per game basis as PlayStation to not get your game old yellowed.
So this clearly motivates the prior story as well, where you can't be taking a loss anywhere if you want a 30% profit margin. And so your dev kits, if tariffs go up, you have to increase the price to keep that net 30% happening.
Now, maybe Microsoft is looking at Nintendo, because Nintendo does hit 33% profit margin, but their games are also significantly cheaper to produce.
And significantly better, in a lot of cases.
They also do a lot less live service, ongoing support stuff, which is really expensive to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the playbook is right in front. Like it's an open book test, and they're just staring at the wall.
It's crazy because it's live service games. It seems like they don't actually make a lot of money unless you're one of the top 5.
But
and then you make crazy amounts of money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Though, is all these studios, in their mind, it is worth it to keep, or not these studios, these publishers, it is worth it to keep fucking gambling, because if we get one of the top 10, we have a money printer forever. That's it.
I guarantee you Genshin Impact is making way more than 30% on their profit margin.
Oh, yeah, no, Genshin, well, I mean, they also spend billions each year.
Most expensive video game ever made.
Yeah, like they they did they did 5 billion in revenue alone in China last year. They did 200 million in
Crazy.
profit in mobile alone in 2022. So net income of 2.3 billion in fucking 2023 is just fucking crazy. It's just
Yeah.
fucking crazy, dude. Like, so yeah, if you win the live service slot machine, yeah, dude, you're so, and that's what every one of these studios is hoping for. They're hoping to get a Call of Duty, a Battlefield, an Apex, a Genshin, where they unlock the unlimited money printing.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're cutting and slashing every single ounce of fat off of their bodies that they can in the meantime until it hits.
Yeah, so but so this is why the Rare's Everwild, this is why the MMO Project Blackbird, Perfect Dark canceled. This is why they've had a lot of studio shutdowns or sell-offs. That's why they were expected to go to $80, but instead just pumped the price of Game Pass. This is why hardware is going up in price. Dude, this is like,
Yeah, here. Do you want to go to the next
It's
story? Because
like
I think this
they're-
goes right in.
It does go right in. In fact,
well, hold on, real quick. Like it's, oh god, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Well, so like you said, hardware is going up, such as them saying that after releasing the $1,000 handheld, Microsoft has said its next gen Xbox console is going to be a quote very premium, very high end curated experience.
They're out here making the Rolex of video game consoles.
Okay, that's worked out for you.
And that's largely, the same motivation. They this is actually related to me to housing, right? So there's a problem in housing where the only really profitable thing for you to make as a developer of like homes is luxury apartments or high-end single-family homes, right? Like the cost of starting a construction project and getting through it, largely due to excessive regulations that happened during the Reagan administration. It's a whole thing. But basically, you're gonna get sued if you want to build anything. So it's gonna be really expensive to build it. And the only thing that makes the profit rate that you need is an occupied luxury apartment or luxury single family home. Luxury goods is the only thing that actually makes the profit margin that you need, right? Because if you're making a low income product for users that can't spend a lot, your margin is going to be tight, right? So like the classic example is grocery stores. Grocery stores have the tightest margins ever because everybody has to use them, even the most desperate and poor people, right? And so they need to get their prices as low as possible because it's the only form of competition they can do with other grocery stores. So video games, specifically Microsoft, on account of the 30% profit margin target, is running into a situation where they cannot market their products to poorer people. If you aren't willing to spend a premium amount of money, it means that you're not giving that premium level profit margin. And so they need to be putting out a $1,000 console that costs them like $600 to make, so that they can get a $400 margin on it.
So I actually don't think that's what they're doing in terms of the profit margin on this. I think that they are, and I could be wrong, I think they're going to be shooting for just a different market in terms of they're trying to get people onboarded onto PC. Like it's very clear they are moving to PC.
I totally agree that they're moving their market over to PC, which is why they're making their console experience only targeted toward a luxury group rather than towards a general audience, because they want their budget people to move on to other platforms, right? It's why they're pushing so hard to put their games on PlayStation. Is they're going, let's let PlayStation and PC and Nintendo take the low margin users, right? Low margin users, let's let them hardware wise go over there. We're going to make premium consoles, and then we're still going to make our take on our games from those users. We don't have to worry about them not having sales to them because we're on every platform. We want them to be on PC. We want them to be on PlayStation.
See, I think that I don't think they want you moving to PlayStation because you go from a 100% cut to a 70% cut.
I don't think they prefer it. I think they prefer PC, but there's a story we're going to be covering later that they are absolutely prioritizing access to their games on PlayStation.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And I think that's because they are going to continue. They've been declining in a lot of ways compared to other consoles, and they're showing that they are going to continue that trend. So at some point,
I don't think they have an answer for this. It's like, okay, but if you're going to be selling $1,000 or possibly even $1,500 console, why wouldn't that person just build a computer?
I think that what they want to present is they want to present a smoother experience of a high end than $1,500 can get you for a PC for a low knowledge user that has a lot of disposable income. I think spending $1,500 on a PC, think back to the time the Series X came out, right? Because obviously
it was $500. It was $500.
Right. $500. A Series X at release time for someone, you could theoretically build a PC stronger than a Series X for $500. It'd be really hard.
Really? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you couldn't.
No. That LTT and a bunch of places tested that. You could get very close at $600 if you were willing to take used parts.
Right. But that's what I mean, right? Is that you have to be willing to take used parts. You have to make a lot of compromises, and you have to know what you're doing to get to a similar price point for the performance they're offering. So what I think Xbox is going to be trying to do is they're going to put out a $1,500 console, and they want it to be running 4K 60. And they want to go, you can get your 4K 60 on your modern game for $1,500. And if you want to do that right now for every game, you're going to have to spend at least $1,500 and have to know a lot about putting together a PC to get something that has similar performance at a similar price point.
The problem I see here, though, is, and I can say this after spending the past week on the Xbox full screen experience, you still need to know a lot about PCs, so they're already fucking up.
But you don't, for a console, you don't, though. For the Series X, you don't even know shit about PCs.
Right, that's the Series X, though. Seeing these announcements and fucking around with the Xbox Ally X full screen experience this week tells me exactly where Microsoft's going. They're going to be making an Xbox Ally X equivalent, but that's a PC. So they're going to go to Asus, or they're going to go to Lenovo or whoever and say, hey, will you make our Xbox for us, but a PC? And it's going to be the exact same shit like this. When I boot that thing up, you have to go into Windows, you have to go into the everything, you have to
I don't know.
I had to uninstall.
I'm skeptical of that. I'm skeptical of the idea that they're moving towards PC pre-builts instead of consoles.
Oh no, they totally are. When I fuck around with the Ally X, it tells me exactly what they're doing. In a clear as day fucking picture, because it has access to my Xbox library, like my 360 games and whatnot. When I go into their little my own library thing, it shows my 360 games, and then when I click on it, it says, "Yo, dog, do you want to stream this?" That's what they're doing for that. It's very clear that their intent is, okay, for the backwards compatibility games we can't get licensed on PC, we're going to just count on our users having Game Pass and streaming them. Otherwise, fuck them. And then this is just going to be a pre-built fucking computer with this Xbox experience thing on it. I
just don't think that they're going to make it a PC level, like a PC type of experience. I think that the only strength that they have in the console market is casual users being able to just turn on their Xbox and it works, right?
And they assume that this Xbox experience is that because that's how they marketed it. They're just wrong.
Right, and I think that I think I could be proved wrong. I think that if a console comes out and it has the degree of user knowledge necessary that a PC has for their next console, I know personally tons of people who will completely fall off of it. They will buy a PlayStation.
Like, I think that it's not going to require the build knowledge that you have to put it together. But I think when it comes to the software end of things,
knowledge.
Yeah,
I mean the software knowledge. I mean the this booted, but this thing is running weird. Let me Google this problem. If you ever have to Google a problem on an Xbox and like change a setting, they're not gonna do that. This console's a piece of shit. This fucking sucks. I'm never purchasing an Xbox again.
And that's what they promised about this handheld, that you're not gonna have to do that, but you do. And they're going to probably and because they think it's good enough, that's probably what they're going to do on this next console.
It's just they already have a console that you don't have to do that on.
But people aren't buying that fucking console. They aren't buying it. They are buying the fucking games on it.
I don't know. It's just, why would you go from a worse thing, from a working fine thing? People aren't complaining about the Xbox's Series X's OS. People are complaining. I mean, people are just complaining about Microsoft's costs for the most part.
Their costs in their library, like their library. You know, if you are someone who is interested in games and you want to play as many games as possible, and you like Microsoft games, but you're also interested in whatever weird stuff PC has going on or Sony games, then why the fuck would you buy an Xbox?
Right. So I'm just thinking, why would Microsoft ever make the decision of, we're going to change the thing on our main console line that people aren't complaining about, that we already have a solution for, and not expand the library and give them a worse experience? Like,
because they are expanding the library, because you're going to have Steam, just like this handheld. You can install Steam on this handheld. I've done it. It boots into big picture mode, and yeah, it's janky at points, but it works. And I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to say, hey, you can install Steam and Epic Game Store on this. This is your games, where you want to play them, when you want to play them. And, you know, in the background, also get a bunch of Windows installs and a bunch of Copilot installs, because people won't ever need that shit.
I will be impressed by your foresight if this comes to pass.
Man.
If
somebody mark it down.
If the next console comes out and they go, you can use Steam on our new Xbox, I'll be impressed.
Because the thing is, like, what they're doing is just, I agree in that. I think it's, they fucked up on the console end. They've tried to compete on that level, and they've just lost. But they are Microsoft. Yeah. They do PC stuff. So we're going to come as close as we can. We're going to sell essentially just a pre-built PC all around gaming, and try to get as close to a decent console experience so you don't have to fidget with it as much, and just sell it to people who have money. And I think that's the only play they have right now. And the question is, will the Xbox toxic brand crush that?
Yeah, because, like, okay, they last generation, they realized they lost. They decided to go all in on Game Pass. It was working great at first, didn't get where it needed to be, and then they couldn't manage their game studios at all, so that didn't help. And now they did this bunch of acquisitions, and those sort of have panned out, but require insane profit margins to make up the difference.
I mean, something I'll point out is that I think it's important to note that Xbox is, to my understanding, still very profitable at the moment. Yep. Like, they're not like failing. They're not. They have less of the market share than they would prefer to have, clearly, but like they're not in this position where they're like, we're desperately falling behind, we're gonna have like solvency issues, or we're gonna be unprofitable. They make a lot of money.
Well, okay, so they've made a lot of money, but they've also spent a shit ton of money. So they spend 69.
I mean, their net end of the day profit, though, like, Xbox is their second most profitable part of their company.
I think that cannot be true, right?
I remember hearing this, but like Xbox is incredibly profitable by my understanding.
Hold on,
We need to check these numbers because if that's true,
I'm checking that. It is tied for 4th with LinkedIn. Oh wait, no, tied for 5th with LinkedIn.
LinkedIn
That's
makes money.
Really good.
It makes money. Well, so that's revenue. I don't know what profit is. They don't have profit listed. They don't list profit.
They have like a paid subscription service or something.
Well, their number one is LinkedIn has a paid.
LinkedIn makes LinkedIn makes titanic amounts of money from companies paying them to. God, LinkedIn makes. I think it's literally the most profitable social media.
I have always been at the bottom end of the economy, so I don't. LinkedIn is a foreign land to me.
They get paid a lot of money by companies advertising their job listings.
Right. I guess I just don't know how much money goes into that.
Their monthly premium subscription is also crazy expensive. It's $40 a month.
Oh my God. Okay.
So
if their profit is the same as LinkedIn,
not their profit, their revenue.
Successful. Their revenue.
There's the revenue and profit, which I believe Anthony.
I highly doubt their profit is the same as LinkedIn.
No, not even close.
I didn't even know Microsoft was LinkedIn. That's so surprised to me, actually.
Their number one thing is Azure, their cloud computing server services, followed by Office 365, Windows, and then Windows, then other. So IT consulting, cloud enterprise software, that kind of thing. And then it's a tie between Xbox and LinkedIn. With Copilot barely behind. But this is revenue. They don't share their profit data. As far as people have estimates. The thing is, though, is Xbox. So Xbox, in terms of revenue, did $15 billion. But
if they're pushing for a 30% profit rate, now, I imagine that is indicative of a current profit rate that makes that a theoretically possible goal to reach. If you are making 8% in profit, you are psychotic if you start pushing for 30%. That is like the most insane business decision ever.
The thing is like I have been inside the company and no, that is something they would do.
We're living in the last 15 years of like the weirdest decisions coming out of Xbox too. And we got on the Game Pass train. We were big Xbox fans because we assumed if you're pushing this, I can see a way you make this work. It doesn't seem like it's happening. They won't tell us, obviously, so we just kind of have to be like, I don't know.
And this profit margin story was, went into effect after they spent $69 billion. So they probably assumed Call of Duty was going to help anchor them, and it hasn't anchored them as much as they thought it would. Along with the other stuff that Activision Blizzard does, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush. Yada, yada.
And again, we don't have the hard details of that, so we don't know for sure.
And also those sorts of acquisitions are usually not like liquid. I put $69 billion in cash out, and it also
they paid $69 billion. No, they paid $69 in cash.
Right, they get a loan for that.
That was out of them. They
didn't finance it at all.
No, they paid cash. That shit.
I guess they are one of the most liquid companies on earth. Yeah.
Yeah, they fucking crazy.
The thing is that I generally take the position of skeptical when it comes to poor business decisions, because businesses absolutely make poor decisions all the time, but usually those poor decisions, when you really put them under the magnifying glass, kind of make sense.
And the thing is like, if this was like fucking Sony or Nintendo, I'd say, oh yeah, it's a dumb business decision. It's not like they have had such a string of these. It's totally believable that they're making this big fuck up. And after
I'm hard pressed to believe that any company is going like, again, say they made an 8% profit rate. I mean, if they didn't make profit, it'd be even more insane. But say they made like an 8% profit rate, and then they go, we're pushing for 30. Like, hey guys, let's quadruple our margin. That's like that's
Okay,
just such a fundamentally unreasonable ask.
Okay, I found their profit margin from 2022. This one got out 12%.
Yeah. I mean,
Going from 12 to 30.
12 to 30 is a big jump. It's a big jump. I could reasonably see that within the past couple of years, that percentage has gone up. Like
Call of Duty probably upped it at least 3%.
And doubling your profit margin is hard, but it's a thing people do demand. People do that.
Yes, this is over double. To be fair, like they're asking for a minimum of over double.
Right,
yeah,
but I'm saying that they probably have made it up to at least 15% since then, and then if they're pushing from to 30 from 15, companies do that. It's unreasonable, but they do it, and it usually it's usually more indicative of them going, we have a 30% target, and then they don't expect to hit the target. They expect to hit a higher number,
20, 25. But
yeah.
I still think that is insane for what they're doing. I think that, and then in terms of this premium experience, like they have very clearly said, this Xbox full screen experience is the future. So I'm totally banking on them leaning in this, and it may improve. By the way, this is the first product that uses it. So I could
see them doing it. If I'd say an example I would look at is Xbox's Discord integration. If you, I don't know how much you guys have used it, but Xbox has added incredible Discord integration. It's very good. Discord is now very, very easy to use on your Xbox. It's literally just a tab. You click it, all your servers are there. You could just hop into a call. It's very easy to use Discord with Xbox now, and I have a number of friends who do it constantly. Right? If they get Steam integration to function like Discord integration, then it would be great. And then I could see it being totally viable for them. If going to Steam is the same process for you as going to the Xbox store, then I could 100% see them moving to this is a pseudo PC.
Right.
I don't see that happening. That feels like a huge leap to me.
This is what it does currently. So this is what is. You'll go into your apps. So it boots in. Have you used the Xbox app on a PC?
A lot, yes. It's hard.
Okay, so yes. So it's basically that, but as your UI. And then there's a section where my library changes to my apps. And you click on my apps, then you click on Steam, and it boots into Steam Big Picture mode. And it does keep a list of all your games installed from those other launchers. So it keeps track of, it keeps track of like, I have Burnout Paradise installed via Steam. And it has the little Steam logo. And I click on it, and then it boots into Steam. But for some reason, it boots into regular Steam, not Big Picture mode. And then it boots into the game. So there's a couple of problems with, of course, is it's a heavier OS still. It's Windows 11, just with a couple of things trimmed out. It's not seamless, but it's better than you would think. And they have, supposedly this console's launching in 2 years, and maybe they'll get it figured out. But yeah, I totally think this is going to be a $1,500 PC. I did pin in our Discord episode 211 Xbox prediction. So if they do this in 2 years, I can pull it up and be like, well, here we go.
Yeah, I think there's a certain amount of people who have more money than they know what to do with, and for that reason alone, I think this is an interesting play. But question is, will it work? Do people want it?
And I think that if you're that person who really does want that premium experience, you would just buy a fucking computer.
I know, but pre-made PCs for gaming aren't amazing either. You still have to deal with the PC aspect of it, and I think Xbox providing this front of a console-esque experience, and then you have to noodle with stuff maybe enough.
The concept of I bought my Xbox and now I'm troubleshooting is
Right, yeah. It does
so
not sound
insane
good.
to me.
And here I was earlier this week doing it on my Xbox handheld.
I can't play my Xbox. I don't know what's happening, and I don't want to troubleshoot it. So
Because even the 360, which had major technical issues, you didn't like tinker with it and try to figure it out. The Red Ring of Death happened, and that thing was dead, and you send it to somebody, and they deal with it.
right.
Anyway, so we have our different takes on what this very curated high-end experience is, of course. But we'll see which one's correct.
My thought, to finalize what my thought on what it will be is, I think it's going to be anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 console that runs the Xbox OS, and I think that's literally it. I think it's just going to be a really expensive console, and that
so it's going to be like a PS5
go, it runs
Pro.
all your games. Yeah. And they're going to go, it runs all your games really good, and it'll do that until a year and a half later, when it becomes cheaper to make a PC that runs better than that for the same price point.
All right. Well, next news story though. Xbox's competition isn't another console, but TikTok and movies, claims executive Matt Booty in an interview with the New York Times. We are competing more and more with everything from TikTok to movies. Layoffs are difficult. They are but they are a part of managing our business. And then, they talk about, their great games and, 4 great games, whatnot.
I think this is related to what we've been saying with, and what a lot of these stories are indicating, with them pivoting towards, in fact, can I hit us with another combo? Can I hit it? You mind if I hit us with another combo here?
Yeah.
Exclusive games are, quote, antiquated, Xbox president says. So I think that this is indicative of the fact that they are moving to a multi-platform strategy, right? They want their stuff on PlayStation.
Yeah, I think
they want you to be playing on PC.
I think they're going full third party.
Well, that's the thing. So we've been talking about this high-end PCS console idea of what they're going for, and I think all of these stories combined with these last few here are just indicative of this is kind of their last. Here's the last thing we're gonna try that's us, and even that's PC. I think otherwise we're just gonna be a third party and we're gonna make a shit ton of money.
Well, and I think what they want is they want to go, we're not just a third party, we are like most of the games coming out. Right? I think what they want is they want to no longer be a console making company or just a publisher. They're trying to get so titanically huge in the publishing sector and with how many developers they own that they just are video games, and that their profit ends up directly correlating with the performance of the entire games market. That's what they want to be the case. And in that scenario, what he's saying is absolutely true. Your primary competitor is anything that isn't people playing video games.
So, yes, and they have published, by the end of the year, they will have published 12 video games this year, which is a lot of fucking video games. But, I talked about this in my
near how many came out.
No.
Yes, and also those games were of very mixed quality. I talked about this in the Xbox video I did a couple weeks ago. There's, at this point, only one game in the top 100 games on Metacritic for this year that are published by Microsoft. So they're putting a lot of stuff out, and some of it's good, but it's not great in a lot of cases. And it's just, the way Anthony has described it is it does not feel like art or a passion project. It feels like a bunch of GR tickets, so.
But what if they just keep acquiring companies? What if they just keep going? What if they acquire more companies?
They haven't acquired any more post Activision, but when you drop 69
billion, take a break. Yeah, you gotta take a cool down.
Yeah, no, but they let EA go.
Yeah, could you imagine if they bought Activision and EA? Oh my god.
The Call of Duty Battlefield crossover we've all been waiting for.
Oh God, they own sports games at that point outside of baseball. Oh
Right.
Christ.
Yep.
Basketball too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at least the language that he's using here for both stories is indicative of them.
Sarah Bond was the one with the antiquated post.
For
Different, but
exclusives.
yeah.
But one before was
and
Matt
it was
Booty with
and Matt Booty was an exec,
yeah.
But both statements, they are indicative of me to a company that views any engagement with video games as a whole leading inevitably to them, right? Like it sounds to me like their mindset is all roads lead to Microsoft.
Thanos there.
Yeah, if you play video games, eventually you're gonna place something in their sphere.
I mean, yeah, you totally will.
And to them, that means that the only thing that they actually need to worry about is not the competition of other people making video games, because those other games are advertisement for them, right? When a great Nintendo game comes out, if a great Nintendo game comes out and that gets you to start playing video games, and one day they know for sure that you're gonna play a Microsoft game, then they're happy that a great Nintendo game came out, because it meant that another person is going to play their Microsoft game. And so, you know, everything's the competition.
So if that is their mindset, I think it is very flawed. That is my, because look, out of curiosity doing this, I poked over to Steam to see how many games are in the top 100 most played that are from Microsoft. The answer is 1, it's Call of Duty. You know, you look in the top sellers, I was like, all right, well, maybe they're just selling games and people are beating them. And it's a little more optimistic. You got the Outer Worlds 2. A lot of people are pre-ordering that. You know, we're not that far removed. I think it looks dope. It's on my list. Ninja Gaiden.
I played the Outer Worlds 1 and it fell a little flat for me. And I thought it didn't do as well as I thought it would, but I guess not.
I really like that game. I'm not normally big on Western RPGs, but anyway, they published Ninja Gaiden 4. That's also in the top 100, and that's the top one. And this is just Steam, of course. Right. You know, I'm sure if you go to PlayStation, like Forza Horizon is still doing big numbers over there. You know, it's really funny that like these Xbox games are just selling okay on Xbox and PC, but are doing gangbusters on PlayStation. Like that's hilarious to me.
Yeah. I mean, I've taken a lot of the role of devil's advocate for Microsoft so far on this cast, but I'll say that I do think that they're getting their shit rocked by like Sony and Nintendo right now. So like,
yes,
I think that their strategy is bad, and I think that the way they are viewing things is bad, because realistically, Sony and Nintendo are your fucking competition, not TikTok. Fucking
well, and you know, video games are bigger than ever. Like it's you know, engagement in games is bigger than movies. I don't think it's bigger than TikTok, because TikTok's fucking demon. But you know, like yeah, I know.
Yeah, I just, this also, like, I don't know. We have a story coming up about how you know, tell Nintendo, like Nintendo has some. it just existing is proof that this isn't the case, but like I think they just want to be third party, but they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, where they're straddling the line between being a console manufacturer and being part of that big space, and then also want to break out of that because they are not doing as well in it, and they can do much better operating as the largest third party that's ever existed.
Oh yeah, like dude, they are like part of the reason they're also going to do a premium, whether it's a PC or a console, whatever the hell it ends up being. Yeah, part of that is totally because of the fact that they lose money on it. So fuck it, let's go premium. You know, so yeah,
right. And I think so. We've been agonizing over this for a good long time now, because they're just extending this transition week after
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
and we're trying to read these news stories, and people are treating them like a console manufacturer because they are, but it's very clear they're moving away from that.
They're moving away from exclusives, and in fact, let me triple combo real quick.
Oh shit!
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. I want to read one quote from that Sarah Bond story, which was, the biggest games in the world are available everywhere. You look at Call of Duty, Minecraft, Fortnite, Roblox. That's what's really driving community and gaming. That's where people gather. And the idea of locking into one store or one device is antiquated for most people. You want to be able to play with your friends anywhere, regardless of what they're on. And we're really leading in this experience with our OG LIX. It's just opened up another way for you to play. As so does the cloud, as so does PC, as so does the consoles in the living room, she added. Now we'll go to this story.
Well, all right. That's perfect. Because that's a perfect lead-in to Mike Ibarra, former Blizzard president, saying in response to that, tell Nintendo that. After Xbox president says exclusives are antiquated. Specifically, the quote is a hit back response to the statement, quote, someone go and tell Nintendo that.
He continues.
He does continue. Nintendo has continually dominated with outstanding games. Some platforms flopped out, but they always took risks, came back very strong. It is the opposite of antiquated. It is risk and return.
It's what we keep saying on like this show and the related stuff we do is like, if you make a good product that people want and continually do so, you will create loyal customers who will keep buying your good products. And it's just an endless cycle.
Is particularly huge for Nintendo.
Yes, absolutely. Because you have this faith that a Nintendo game will be good. And it typically is good.
Okay, here's the thing. Even when they aren't, Nintendo has like this graph. In fact, I don't want to combo too quickly, but I do need to bring up our next story because it's relevant to my point here.
We can allude to it.
So the next story is about Pokemon. Every Pokemon game that comes out is like the best-selling Pokemon game ever. Like Scarlet and Violet was as it says in the next story, Scarlet and Violet was the 3-day #1 game ever for sales within a 3-day period for a console exclusive game.
Right.
For a single platform game, it is the most sales within 3 days ever, 10 million. And and every fucking Pokemon game that comes out, Sword and Shield before that was the prior record. Like it's just one after the other after the other. Every Nintendo game that comes out, people buy it just because you buy the Nintendo games. I'm playing Pokemon right now. Like,
it's so like, I'm just.
They have so much customer loyalty solely built off of the back of exclusives. It's literally nothing but exclusives. Their entire business model is exclusives.
Well, and it's not just exclusives. It's games that are, in a lot of cases, genre-defining hits. Like it's like
really good exclusives.
It's really great fucking video games, and because they've done that, and because they've put it on a platform people have really wanted recently, especially in the Switch and Switch 2, that now they can start doing movies. Now they can start doing theme parks. Now they can start doing home goods. I own Animal Crossing slippers, dog. Like.
Remember, I was there when you got them.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though, is that like, as someone who plays video games, I'm all about non-exclusivity. I like to be able to play all these games everywhere.
I do like.
I am for that.
I totally agree.
However, it's
I would
like
love to play everything on my computer and my Steam Deck. That'd be great.
Right.
Yeah.
However, for the console people, like, it's like limit like the gun conversation to like using guns against other people. It would be cool, like forget hunting and all. It would be cool if we didn't have guns. No one had guns, so we weren't shooting each other. Here's the thing, though. If one group does not get rid of their guns, having that stance means nothing.
If there's nothing preventing it, then
Right.
like, what do you? We would be fools to believe that if Halo wasn't bad, right? If Halo was coming out with just killer games with tons of content more frequently, and everyone was still talking about it like the FPS you need to make a game to kill, and that was exclusive, Xbox, people would have more Xboxes. That would absolutely just be the case.
Yeah, like I think that and that's 100% thing. Like if Halo never dropped off, if Gears never dropped off, Forza Horizon never did drop off. It actually only got continually better. But
Forza Horizon is fine.
Yeah, like but if Forza Motorsport never dropped, that too. And like they made that move, and I think it was 2015-ish that everything, or 2016, that everything was going to be PC. Which that's fine if you want to lock to just Microsoft ecosystems, because some people would still just buy the console. The problem is though, is that the games weren't good enough. They weren't good enough. They just weren't. Like every now and then,
and a lot of their exclusives petered out. Like they stopped coming out frequently. If Fable was still an incredible series that had great games coming out, that would probably help their case.
Like versus Nintendo, where when I was working on that Xbox video, I looked into like Game of the Year nominees at the Game Awards. I realized the Game Awards are not the end all be all, but it's like a good benchmark of kind of where things were in a year, right? And I looked at their best game, their Game of the Year and their Game of the Year nominees over the past. Ever since the Game Awards started in 2014, Nintendo has had a nominee almost every single year. They skipped 2024, and I think they've skipped a couple other years. But I think it was like something like 12 out of the past, or it was like 9 out of the past 11 years they had a nominee, and they've won it a couple times. Microsoft has had 0 in that time frame. If you include their recent purchase of Activision, they've had 1 with Overwatch.
Yeah.
That's really bad. And Sony has had 1 also almost every year as well.
Importantly, it cannot fuel an exclusive strategy. Like putting out games that, if you're not putting out games that are incredible, that is the fundament of the exclusive strategy. Now, it can work fine with a multi-platform strategy though, because you don't need to be making the best game for people to buy your game. You need to be making a game that they kind of want to play, right? And you need to market it good.
Yeah, and it has to.
And they've got good marketing. They do lots of marketing. If your marketing is incredible and that game is definitely available on something you have, then you're way more likely to play it, right? Nintendo games don't need incredible marketing, right? Oftentimes they have them, but Nintendo games are just really fucking solid. And so
they're great games.
Yeah, and so people will buy a Switch because they know they want to play Nintendo games because they're great, and so they need a Switch to do it.
And there are some years where Nintendo will put out 2 or 3 Game of the Year nominees, like level games. Like 2023, they put out Mario Wonder and Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4 all in the same year. Like that's a crazy year. That is 3 certified bangers, 2 of which will sell consoles.
I really wish they were doing that with Pokemon, but.
Well, they don't. They only own a third of Pokemon. You tell the other 2/3. You tell the other 2/3 to get their shit together.
I know. I'll tell specifically the 1/3 that doesn't have their shit together that makes the games, which is fucking Game Freak.
You tell Game Freak, come on, what the fuck are you doing? Like they showed off that Kirby Airlander Direct a couple days ago, and I'm like, fuck. I cannot believe I'm buying a second kart racer from Nintendo, and it looks amazing. It looks amazing.
What sucks is that the games sell worse than Pokemon still.
Yeah,
those games are awesome. They're fueling a very profitable, very good first-party strategy from Nintendo. selling console exclusives, and they don't beat Pokemon out because it's Pokemon.
Look, yeah, Pokemon. If you land a Pokemon, like that's incredible. But like that's not something that's like, all right, we're gonna plan. Here's a 5-year plan to create a Pokemon competitor in terms of popularity and the hold on people's brains.
It's a once ever. It's a one of one. You will never recreate the success of Pokemon ever.
There are only 5 games on the Switch 1 that outsold Pokemon.
Okay.
It's 5. It's Mario Kart 8, Animal Crossing, Smash, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey.
That's ridiculous. That's stupid.
And then Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are number 6 and 7. Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party, and Mario Bros.
One game is 2 of the top slots.
That's the beauty of Pokemon, man.
That's and then in the top 10, Zelda is 2 slots. Zelda's huge. Mario is 3. Mario is 4 slots because Kart, Mainline Mario, Party, 2D Mario.
Right.
I'm just saying you could theoretically combine those 6 and 7. Like those are the same game. Those 6 and 7 slots.
Yeah, like a number of people are crazy and buy both versions because they have the money to do so. But like otherwise, like you put those together.
If you combine, both versions are considered in the sales. But if you're talking about Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, if you were to combine those together, if you were to combine Scarlet and Violet with Sword and Shield as one game, sure.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I thought you were saying Scarlet and Violet were considered.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying.
No, Scarlet and Violet are one game. I consider one game. They're number 6. Sword and Shield are one game. They're number 7.
Okay.
And then if you're curious, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee are 14. Nice. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, 15. RCS.
Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl even being on the list is stupid. The game
RCS
sucks, dude.
Well, people bought it. RCS
it's a remake of an existing game that is much worse than the original.
So Arceus is 16. So yeah, of the top 20 best-selling games on the original Switch, fucking 5 of them are Pokemon.
Yep.
That's fucking ridiculous.
No, it's nuts.
Xbox doesn't have anything like that. Like the closest they got is Call of Duty, which had to buy.
Yeah, well, and if you want to get real crazy, there is not one third-party game in the top 20 best-selling Switch games.
Yep.
The first third-party game is number 24 with Monster Hunter Rise. And number 25 was Stardew Valley.
Yep.
I'll point out Monster Hunter Rise was an exclusive too.
It was timed. Yeah, it was like a year and a half. It was timed exclusive. That's crazy, dude. So it's almost like if you make amazing video games that people want to get engrossed in, they'll suck it up and buy your hardware. It's almost like
we're back to that Phil Spencer quote. It's not just good games that make it sell, and it's just like that was a huge shit. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Let's actually read the headline for this next story. It's Pokemon Legends ZA sold 5.8 million copies in its first week, making it the 5th best Pokemon launch of all time.
And it's all that also. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
The 4 games above it are all Nintendo Switch titles. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sold 10 million in 3 days. Legends Arceus 6.5 million in 3 days. Sword and Shield 6 million in 3 days. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl also sold 6 million in 3 days.
I'm curious what the breakdown is for Switch 2 buyers. Does it say here?
Yeah, there's nothing here about the install rate of ZA and Switch 2 buyers. I imagine it's probably high.
But like, going back, this is not a hard thing to grasp. Sony understands it. They just screwed up with their live service side bet, which is you make great games, you do it over and over and over again to get people into your, hooked into your brand, hooked into your ecosystem. And then you can expand into TV show, theme park, home goods, and get people on the train that way. The Disney playbook, if you will.
I have an anecdote to add about the install rate.
Yeah.
So I went and I purchased this at GameStop using a gift card I was given, as I had mentioned previously on this show that I would do. And when I went there, there's actually two versions of this game. There's a Switch 2 version and a Switch 1 version. They are different cartridges, right?
Yeah.
They didn't even ask me if I wanted the Switch 1 version.
Oh.
Well, I mean, there you go.
They just were like, all right, here you go. And they handed me the Switch 2 version.
Maybe you look like that much of a gamer.
Like a baller. Maybe they're like, he's got a Switch 2.
This guy's for sure.
Yeah, this guy looks like a neckbeard. This guy, this is
just because you're right doesn't make it okay. Man, damn. Yeah. Pokemon remains Pokemon. It's.
Yeah, VGC's Legends ZA Reviews calls it, quote, a love letter to older fans that betters Pokemon Legends Arceus in every way. And they say, quote, the new battle system really worked for me, and the rogue mega battles are bombastic fun. Even if I like traditional turn-based offering, it can get very easy as you level up your team. I hope the Pokemon Legends series is here to stay.
We're gonna get into this game a lot more later in the show, but it is the most I've enjoyed a Pokemon game since X and Y.
Yeah, so I'm obviously enjoying it. I'm spamming the A button as we speak.
I am holding my tongue until later.
All right.
But the next story, also a Nintendo story, Luigi's Mansion coming to Nintendo Switch Online on October 30th.
Hey, good call.
Just in time for Halloween. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I love the first Luigi's Mansion, so this is dope. I'm down for this.
I actually still have not played a Luigi's Mansion game.
I'm considering streaming it on Halloween. So,
I'm just excited for more GameCube games to be coming to Switch. That's a good sign to me. I like that. And
I played a lot of Mario Strikers this year when they put it on that service.
Yeah, Mario Strikers.
I played a lot.
I really want them to put 3DS games on Switch. I don't know why they're not doing that.
Feels
like it'd be so easy.
They just put a patent out recently that seems like they're going to be doing regular DS games soon. So
I think it's probably all just the dual screen stuff. I think it's the only reason they haven't been porting DS and 3DS.
Yeah. You turn your Switch on the sides, and you have two screens there, and
no, they got to sell you an add-on like the Virtual Boy, where you. Well,
they have the mouse functionality now.
Yeah, they have
that would cover your ability to do a bottom touchscreen.
All I'm seeing here is it was a mistake to move away from the Wii U. You could have had your TV up top, and then you have the screen on the bottom. I'm just saying. Now you can't play 3DS stuff.
Okay. Hear me out. Sell an extension for the Switch that is a second smaller Switch. That connects to your Switch for a second screen.
Yeah.
So. Look, we're joking, but people have been doing mock-ups of like screen that attaches the top to the top.
If people are willing to pay, the question is, all right, 3DS games. What are you getting that has to be experienced in the 3DS way? Hotel Dusk. I don't know.
A lot of these things. In fact, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, that piece of shit. That was an example of a remake of a DS game where turns out you could actually just strip out most of the DS features.
All right.
They don't really matter a lot.
So I can tell you, at least from my memory, the only game that I played on 3DS that I felt like the 3D was a mandatory thing that was great to have was Mario 3D Land. Everything else, I was kind of like, this is okay. And so... do that how you will.
What a weird feature. I mean, having a feature on your handheld console that gives like 20% of people headaches. It's such a weird strategy.
The thing is like I'm very glad Nintendo experiments. I'm very
Yes.
glad they're willing to shoot these shots. It's good to have a major publisher out here, developer, platform holder, go out and be like, yeah, we're gonna try shit. And we're gonna focus on fun more than anything else. And yeah, in the case of the 3D, it was, it's a single game in my opinion. Well, there
I
were
looked
like
at it
multiple games
recently, and
advantage
it's
of.
really impressive looking. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. You look at it, it's like, whoa, how's it doing that?
Well, especially when you fast forward to the new 3DS series, which it was more solid.
But the reason it was such a surprise to me was I had the feature turned off the entire lifetime of the handheld. I didn't know what it looked like. I just never turned it on.
I remember I bought that thing at launch and I tried it, and it was a cool thing. I just feel like most games didn't utilize it in a way that I felt needed it.
I had a 2DS for most of the 3DS's lifespan, and then when I actually had a 3DS, I just never turned it on until like recently, like the feature. But yeah, I'm glad to see Luigi's Mansion coming out, and I hope that they get more of that going on soon. Our next story, pivoting back to Microsoft, Halo is getting a campaign remaster, and it's coming to PS5.
Yeah, so they are remaking the first Halo. This is actually way more extreme of a remake than I was expecting. So they're adding new weapons, new vehicles. They're adding 3 new story levels starring Sergeant Johnson and Master Chief. They're also changing co-op to be 4 players if you're playing it online. Then they are also adding features from later games. It will have sprint. It will have vehicle jacking. So yeah, and then you can see the gameplay here. They show off the silent cartographer, which is probably.
They also mentioned in the story that they are redesigning a number of the levels that. Let's be fair, some of the levels of Halo Combat Evolved suck. Specifically, the library sucks. The library sucks. And they, in the article, say, quote, in the library specifically, which features several flood encounters, we wanted to reevaluate the pacing and enhance the environmental storytelling. We've added new lines to Guilty Spark, which guide you through the level, and there's new dialogue that gives more insight to the narrative as it plays out. We're not changing the stories. It's about refining and adding context element and other levels like so players can stay on track.
I was on board with all of this till I saw Sprint. That was the one I'm like, this feels wrong. This feels dirty.
It does feel wrong.
I have played Halo 1 more times than almost any other game I can think of besides Metal Gears 3 and 4 for a single player game. Visually, this looks amazing. It looks fucking gorgeous. And they actually still managed to nail a good chunk of Halo's art style, which, credit to them for that. But I don't know how I feel about this. It kind of feels like you're trying to remake the Mona Lisa. It may be just my attachment to Halo speaking, but it feels
on Game
wrong.
Pass, I'll play it.
I mean, it will be. You'll. I wonder how much they're gonna sell for retail. I'm curious about.
I'm guessing 50.
50? Okay.
I'm guessing 50 because they don't have the multiplayer in there.
It doesn't have a multiplayer. They're adding skulls to Halo 1 also. It's gonna have skulls now. Fuck.
I'm mostly curious about how PlayStation people will react to it.
I think with the modernization stuff, I think it's gonna be very popular.
I think people will like it.
I mean, to be fair, all these Xbox games that have moved to PlayStation have done really well.
Okay.
Even that Gears remake / remaster has done really well, even with kind of mid reception.
Right.
So I expect a full proper remake like this to do exceptionally well.
It's Halo, man. This is the big one of Xbox.
It is Halo.
I'll say this: seeing this on a PlayStation feels weird.
Yes.
It feels like this is how Sega people must have felt when Sonic Adventure 2 came to the GameCube.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, oh fuck. I'm gonna buy this.
And I'll tell you what. I played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on the GameCube.
Yeah. Same.
So,
Yep.
So maybe PlayStation is what Halo needs.
It may be.
it feels long, but you're probably
Get
right.
Halo Infinite over there.
Dude, oh my god, you want to see that community just resurge entirely?
I mean, you're already
There
doing
you
this.
go.
You might as well. You're trying to make that game successful. Do it.
Well, especially because this game doesn't have multiplayer. It's a campaign. It's the campaign, and I'm gonna buy it. Aaron, are you gonna buy this? No.
Nope. I look forward to seeing people enjoy it.
I have Game Pass, so I'll play it once on Game Pass.
I have a question. All right, Aaron. If I fund this for you, will you play through co-op for a stream, like the game? Play through Halo 1.
Yeah, pay money for me to play through this once and be done with it.
Yeah, probably. Depends on I'll say this. It depends on how much it is. If they're coming out here and saying $70, I might rethink that choice. But
you might want to ask me when it's closer to time, because I'm in a moment where I'm really mad at Xbox for my specific experiences I've been having recently.
You've done the factory reset, so I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I don't know
there.
what's going on, so I'm flabbergasted. And then Halo was a real pain in the ass when we had Halo Night, and I'm like, Microsoft and Xbox can eat a dick for all
Halo,
I care. So
Halo Infinite ran fine, but Halo MCC, I don't know what the fuck's going on with that game on PC, but which sucks because it's the best one they have.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this footage and I'm like, yeah,
looks good.
That's fucking Halo. Yeah, this is Halo 1. The only part of it.
You've just made me want to play Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, you watch the hunt. They added the stuff from Halo 3, where if you shoot a hunter, you can shoot their armor off more in depth. They've. Oh wait, it's 4-player co-op. We can get Duncan in on this.
If this comes out and there's GameFly, I'll rent it.
Yeah, it's gonna have a physical version. It'll be on PlayStation, so you don't even have to use your Xbox.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yep.
There we go. See, Microsoft, you're getting your wish. We're playing your game, just not on any of your fucking hardware.
Yeah, then they're fine with it. That's their strategy now.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, man. I think it looks good. I'm kind of bummed at no multiplayer. I would have loved to see them bring back the kind of bullshit multiplayer of Halo 1.
I think they're probably in the process of working on a new Halo game that has the Unreal Engine multiplayer, and they go, let's save it for that.
Yeah, this is supposedly a test bed for their developers to get used to working in Unreal instead of Slipspace. So, I think that's awesome. I think that if they manage to get this right, and this is a test bed for whatever the next one is called will be, I think that could be pretty cool.
Sure. You say that's awesome. But you know what isn't awesome?
What's not awesome? What's not
Our
awesome?
next
Let me
story.
know. I finally get to rip my Band-Aid off.
Yeah, we finally got to
The
yours.
Gamer
All right.
website suffers widespread editorial layoffs.
Oh, it sure does. So, The Gamer, which is a kind of a mid-tier gaming site owned by Valnet. They're also behind OpenCritic and GameRant, and as a relationship, Polygon has let go of the entire The Gamer features team, along with several other staff. Lost a ton of people. They just the mainstream gaming website continues to die.
Yep. They let go of their entire features team along with several other staff members. They cut a ton of people at the gamer, and that sucks.
It sucks, but it's not surprising. It's just
And
continuing forward.
I'm gonna combo it. I'm actually gonna combo it with our last story.
Combo.
Boom.
More than 1,200 games journalists have left the media in the last 2 years.
Oh, and that's just full time, by the way. That does not include part time or amateur
Freelance.
or anything like that. The number goes up a lot more if you include that. So it's
If you go from since 2023, it's 4,000 people.
oh yeah, well that's if you include amateur, freelance, part time. Since 2023, it's 4,000.
Yeah.
So
it seems like a lot of these layoffs, such as what is happening at The Gamer, are resulting in a lot of these people just not coming back.
Yep.
Yeah, a culmination of a number of factors is cost of media and journalism, some of its brightest talents. Williams told VGC. The Cohen highs followed by the lack of diversification in content, diversification of advertising spend, Google's helpful content update, summaries, and AI have all contributed to where we are now. Fan-led media might be the simplest route to consolidate revenue for publishers and secure future for staff, but it's only the start. In a consumer world where ad blocking is standard in games as a service and social media and communications tools where children and adults form their relationships, video game media needs to evolve and innovate. Support your favorite publications before you don't have a choice. Veteran game journalist Alex Dobson, who owns publication site RPG Site and writes for major outlets, agrees that games media's recent troubles are primarily due to Google, but also changing reader habits. He argued that layoffs could be avoided with better management of the media business. And then there's some more stuff we'll get into in a sec, but I want to comment on that. I think this is yet another victim of number must go up X more than it did last quarter, last year. And I just don't think games media is a business where that could happen. I think games media is something that can make a profit.
I think
quarter on quarter.
The point out of Google being a huge effect here, where you have less of a reason to click on games articles now, because Google AI will answer the question for you usually accurately by pulling it from the article you would have clicked on. Yeah. Which is a huge blow to these services and to games journalism in general. You know, the pivot, like you said, it is, you know, number go up, and the easiest way to manage that number go up is to get fan-made media serviced rather than service to people rather than stuff from a journalist. And you know, like you said, it's that a fan media seems like a pivot that that a lot of these companies are going for, as was mentioned in the article. And yeah, that's bad for having journalists on staff.
And it's, you know, it's bad for the game industry because, like, when you have a journalist, be it, you know, someone who's been doing it a while, they have responsibility to the reader, to the company. They're trained. You know, I know that, like, you know, we're kind of fast and loose here, but we at least try and hold some of it, or try and hold to some of those standards here.
I mean, yeah, for example, when I say something, you Google it and then check how accurate it is.
Yeah, we, you know, we try and source things here and also give credit to the sources when possible. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, the standard goes down, and then how much of this is like, oh, this is just a mouthpiece for X game company. And then, you know, a couple more quotes. My expectation here is that games media will continue to shrink for at least the next 12 months. I'm currently not even convinced that we've hit the grip of the main earthquake yet. For quality games media, I continue to believe that the best form of stability is dedicated reader bases to remove reliance on funds and a hybrid of direct reader funding and advertisement. If you want to keep quality content from full-time professionals, they need to support it or lose it. That's more critical now. That's totally true. If, you know, like, it's a big part of why I pay for, you know, Jeff's Patreon. You know, I know people who support different Patreons of this. You know, some people pay for Bloomberg, for Jason Schreier. Yeah. So,
The thing though is getting people to pay for games journalism.
well, it's you have to care about games enough, and it's that varies from person to person. I know that Duncan, do you pay for the Castle Super Beast Patreon or burn your Twitch sub over there or do anything with that?
Yeah, I have a Twitch sub to Castle Super Beast. I also pay a Patreon sub to Action Button Reviews.
Yeah, and I pay a Patreon for Jeff, and I paid for a year of Game Informer. So yeah, like I think the answer here is, if you want it to be around and you don't want just kind of what I will jokingly call the state media funded by the publishers, then yeah, you're going to have to either go to independent people like us who try and hold to that standard, or find guys like Jeff, like Action Button, like Castle Super Beast, Giant Bomb on Patreon on their sites and pay money. The free ride is over.
You're not getting a lot of bang for your buck with Action Button. I've been paying $5 a month for them. And,
a lot of bang,
it took
and
2
then
years.
bucks and bucks and bucks.
$5 a month for a video once every 2 years.
Yeah, but
okay, maybe that's a bad investment. But Jeff puts out like 3 videos and an article every week. So
Yeah, but you get access to the Goblin Bunker with Action Button Reviews.
Oh,
So. Also, he answers emails.
Oh,
see,
okay.
I get Jeff's podcast without his ads, but that actually makes it worse because his ad reads are hilarious.
Sure.
Him doing his dick pill ads are real funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also just, I think there are people who have the money who do care, but I think there's a lot of money out there from people who just who don't value what games journalism brings. And how do you convey that value to people?
I think that I think that a lot of times it's entertainment, and if it's not entertainment, then they kind of have to see through what I will once again call the facade of state-run, publisher-run media, of like, oh, this guy really promoted this game and it actually turns out that it sucks, and he got the game early and is promoting the game. The story I will always link back to is actually Rooster Teeth related. So there was an episode of The Patch, which was Rooster Teeth's old gaming podcast, where they were reviewing Fallout 4 and they were talking up Fallout 4 and praising Fallout 4 while wearing Fallout 4 merch in a copy they got early. And they said, they criticized Jeff, saying the 3 out of 5 Fallout post you answered, they spent 10 minutes on the patch rudely criticizing you for scoring, saying, I remember was, you must drink wine and eat cheese while you review games on their technical merit. And then Jeff's response is, I'm not super familiar with Rooster Teeth's output. Aren't they the same crew that produced a series of videos about Fallout 4 that were brought to you by Fallout 4? Because that's certainly where I'd go for my honest opinion about Fallout 4.
Right.
Like there's
some people who
it's
eat
that kind of thing. They don't think about it beyond the second level. They're just like, it's why like I really enjoy Taliesin and Evitel's YouTube channel, but it's very apparent they're raw Blizzard cheerleaders, and when I watch that content, I have to be like, this is for entertainment. This is not for proper news or analysis of what they're doing.
I think I agree with the point from the story that I think that a lot of these problems would be mitigated if these outlets just had greater levels of independence, right? They are acquired by major companies, and those companies are almost always the ones doing the layoffs. They're not trying to like balance the budget to keep existing, which is what a lot of these smaller outlets are doing. They're not making a ton, but they're moving their money around wherever it needs to be for everyone to still be there and to continue making their stuff, because a lot of smaller independent outlets kind of don't care about being a profitable business. They care about existing. right? Like they just want to continue existing and making their thing.
Can we do our thing and pay our people to not starve to death?
Yeah, and when you get acquired, that just stops being the priority. The priority becomes making a profit, and if that means cutting people, that means cutting people.
Yeah, 100%. So, this sucks.
Yep.
This sucks super hard. I do think eventually, when enough people get burned and enough of this happens, you will see those larger outlets that survive and new outlets spring up and survive and do great.
Yeah, I mean, games journalism exists because there's a unique demand for it, and it's never gonna die. I feel like I have heard games journalism is dying since I was in middle school.
It's because it has been. It's dying since you were in middle school.
But it's not gonna like fully die because the need is still there. We've read some stories today that exist because of that.
If you've been dying for 15 years, you're not dying. You're just in a lot of pain.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse and worse
along.
And worse.
Like we came in at what a lot of people considered the peak. Like we came in professionally in 2011, in general in 2009. And, like kind of got to see that entire roller coaster there. And it has been shrinking rapidly. And I think probably in the next 2 years, we will hit the drop will finally stop. And there can be a full, like, proper rebuild, figure out what the hell's going on, etc.
I mean, we're in the middle of a slow transition where the established people are trying to, the most public established people are trying to create independent outlets and be funded that way.
And I think, at least judging by how all of those have gone, it's going well. Last Stand Media is doing well. Giant Bomb seems to be doing well. So on and so forth.
Reviews. He was, he was at Kotaku right before he started Action Button. He left Kotaku and went, I want to do what I wanted to do at Kotaku. Will you guys just pay me? He had a successful Patreon before he ever put out an episode of Action Button Reviews.
Right, and these are people who have like the following, and
and those people are going to continue to exist.
Yeah,
like no matter what happens to games journalism, and I think that more of them are going to shift towards independent outlets. And Rooster Teeth, for example, right? Rooster Teeth collapsed. All of the people from Rooster Teeth have gone on to do some other thing now that are all like nowhere near as big as Rooster Teeth was, but they're successful enough for them.
Right. And then you have places like Aftermath and Remap where like they're doing well enough, but like Aftermath for a long time is like, we're trying to get to the point where this is our only job. And I forget if they've crossed that threshold yet, but it's been a long time of them pushing for that.
Yeah, like but you're seeing more and more. Second Wind doing great independently. They pay full-time staff. You see Last Stand Media. They're the biggest gaming Patreon. Last I checked. Kind of funny. Kind of has to be a little more corporate. Like they have 5-hour energy drink ads on their primary main screen a lot of the time, but they're doing well. At least they're doing well enough to run a full-time business with 10 people. So I think that it's not. I think that the biggest issue I see, and to be fair, some of these places are hiring people or do hire people that can help with this. Is where is this 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when you have way less people in that space?
Right.
Like that's the concern I have, because like, dude, Jeff turned 50 this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the man is 50. Mm-hmm. He is.
I think that if you're talking about the future of where it goes, I think it's gonna start shifting towards content creators.
I mean, that's it. What happened with Gamergate and the discussion around game journalists around that time was around objective reviews and all that. People just moved to the content creators, the people that are on Twitch and the people that are making that content, and journalists have been making that push to move over to being content creators and then trying to do journalist stuff as well. but like,
The problem I see with the content creator though is you get these guys who are, obviously grifting, and then you fall into that trap.
Yep.
And then they don't give a shit about quality. Before in the pre-show we were talking about, Smash JT and his dumbass shit with Colin Moriarty, where Colin made him look stupid for not understanding how Circana works. For an hour. And it's
I mean, I think that traditional games journalism is always going to exist. I think there's going to be a small subset. Like eventually, it'll dwindle until there's a group of fucking final soldiers sitting on the front lines, interviewing people. But a great example of like games journalist that's moved over to just content creation, but still doing proper games journalism is like People Make Games, right? Fantastic channel. Their coverage of Disco Elysium is incredible, and also it's literally now two guys and whatever stuff they're hiring to help them cover, like filming at locations. I think that that's somewhat bad because it means that fewer jobs are going to exist in the space because it'll centralize it to figureheads that are the guys that are the influencers, and then they'll have a team, and that team is probably not going to be nearly as big as a team at a full outlet would be. But if we're talking about how it's going to go, that's probably it.
Yeah, and then I think there's going to be cases where you have people who are just regular content creators who accidentally end up there, i.e. Wooly.
Yeah, Wooly and Pat, Castle Super Beast, they cover a lot of news and they don't want to be that guy. They don't want to. They don't want to do that, but they're doing it.
The comment that I will always remember is local man bullied by internet into becoming news anchor.
Right. They have a great podcast clip in which Pat is like, Wooly, you've already, because Wooly's like prefacing like, I'm not like a responsible games outlet, and Pat's like, Wooly, you don't have a choice. Wooly, you are that now.
Right.
People are coming here for the news. You don't get to choose what they're coming here for.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the way it is now. It is.
Yep. So what I'm saying here is follow us for all your gaming news.
Yeah.
We're all you need. What all you need. Come here. Come to the podcast whose episode this week is either going to be EA is responsible for 9/11 or this guy is a neckbeard.
Sure. All right. Yeah.
I like EA is responsible for 9/11. It's a good one for me.
All right. Good to know.
Good Lord. All right. That's the news.
That's the news. All right.
God.
All right. Hey, we've been playing video games. We played a bunch of Pokemon ZAs.
We did. Is it time to talk some Pokemon?
It is time to talk about the Pokemons.
All right. Well,
so I'm gonna play. Have found this game charming. I've liked it. I've played through very little of it, but I've spent a lot of time in it. God
damn it, Aaron, I'm watching the footage and now I want to play.
That's how it works.
God damn it.
That's how they do it.
A lot of my thoughts here are on the environments and on the actual look of the Pokemon. I think the Pokemon look great. They've got nice little animations. There's a nice amount of character to, fletchings landing on light posts and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's charming.
I like seeing the Pokemon I think that was alive.
Yeah, I think that was true of Legends Arceus too, but it's much more so here. There's a sense of living world.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, I can partially attribute to the simpler map, right? It's one city. The whole thing is loaded in at all times, which is not a great way to do it. But it's one big. In fact, crazier part, it's one big model. People have pulled the model of the city, and there's lots of smaller models obviously layered on top of it, but the buildings and the floor are all one big model.
So I have criticized Pokemon about a lot of things over the past. God, X and Y was over a decade ago.
Yeah.
12 years or so.
This is the love letter to the old game X and Y, which is the thing you started with the criticism on.
Yep.
Yes, I've criticized a lot about this whole franchise post X and Y, and they have solved one of my biggest problems, which is the fact that it does not take an eternity to get going. You are into the core gameplay loop of this game after about an hour. There's about an hour of tutorial and story and explaining stuff, and then you're kind of just let loose. You'll want to continue the story and do stuff, but this core gameplay loop is fucking great. It is. So it's a day-night cycle.
Yep.
The day cycle is you're catching Pokemon, you're doing side quests, you're helping people, you're collecting items, you're leveling your dudes up, and then at night it's fucking Fight Club.
Yeah.
You know, and I literally do mean Fight Club. You go out and you fight people, and you get a higher rank to do a big fight to rank up.
I like just even in the opening how you're you're just standing in the wrong place when night falls, and it's all right. You're in the fight zone. You shouldn't have been here at nighttime, idiot.
Yes, I do love how that this just proves you should never go to Paris.
True. This is what happens there.
Paris does become a PvP zone at night.
Really, the hardest part about this game is that it's kind of cruel to the Pokemon. They have to be in France.
It really is. It's animal cruelty.
Yeah. Anyway. But so I think the gameplay loop is super tight. I even think the story is, it's pretty solid for what Pokemon is so far, at least.
Sure.
I said for what Pokemon is.
My big problem coming in was that I saw the buildings and I thought, man, those all look like the same fucking building pasted place to place.
Yeah.
And that is true. And then I just haven't had a problem with that while playing it.
Right. Like whatever.
And I think literally the only reason it isn't a problem for me is that they just they have 5 or 6 different kinds of roofs that they're swapping out on every building. And it's giving them just enough variety that it actually does kind of feel like a changing environment. I really love the rooftop system that they have going on.
Yeah, I think that's
where they let you climb on all the roofs and jump from place to place. That's great. I like climbing all the scaffolding. I like all the little environmental things, like how they'll have spider webs that are the thing going, or leaves going in between buildings. It's just lots of little charming bits about.
I do have one question for Aaron. Where do you get a Squirtle? Where are those?
It'll come to you eventually.
To know. Okay, great. So yeah, I think that I think the only complaint I have about the game now is I think the presentation is still kind of bad. That's my really only critique. I think the Pokemon themselves and their animations are good. I think it's the world looks like you took an early era 360 game and up-resed it.
Yeah. You can see the walls of the buildings are all like a JPEG.
Yes.
Like you can see the little things that are supposed to be fences on the sides of the windows that look like pixely and bad.
Right. Yep.
But I've been playing this on a 55-inch TV, and oh my god, sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
So you know what I think has been helping me is that I'm playing this on a 4K monitor. I took one of my PC monitors and I played into that. And the smaller screen, I think, is just making the game look way better.
There's an effect that I've noticed with when you play games like this on handheld or Steam Deck or even a smaller monitor, where it doesn't make it quite as noticeable. I think when you're playing this though on a television, I'm on 55-inch TV, you notice everything.
Right.
And so I think that, and then I think the lack of voice acting and the lack of it's just kind of unacceptable for a company that is this goddamn huge, for an IP this huge, You know, to be doing that, to have a presentation that just feels so fucking bare bones.
I mean, like we covered earlier, it sells so well every time. You can afford the voice acting. You can afford it.
You could afford like the best voice actors.
In fact, in their external media, they have voice actors. These characters have voice actors. Like,
they would probably be stoked for the work.
In the promotional material for Scarlet and Violet, they have that fucking Twitch streamer girl, Iona. And before the game came out, they had promotional material where she had a voice actor. And then the game comes out, complete silence.
Yeah.
There you go. So I think that like the presentation stuff is real fucking bad still, but I think that they have finally figured out that no one wants to do a 20-hour tutorial or even a 5-hour tutorial. I think an hour is at least, I think it's acceptable. I think you could slim it down a bit more, but you got to explain what a Pokeball is to the children.
Right. I think they realized people like Mega Evolution. We should just bring it back. And that's
yes.
They knocked it out of the park. They didn't have to keep trying all this new stuff. Like people liked Mega Evolutions.
Nobody liked Dynamax. Dynamax was a plague upon the series. Terrestrialization is really lame, but really cool competitively.
Sure.
Like, if what you care about is the 2v2 VGC format, Terrestrialization's fucking sick, but it looks stupid.
That's the thing. Like, they need to come up with something else.
Yeah. But Mega Evolution doesn't look stupid, and people like it. And so it coming back it's cool. It's great.
And character customization of this is more in depth and better than Scarlet and Violet. I still want more.
Yeah.
Like I want more haircuts. I want more outfits. But this is everything about this. It's not where it needs to be, but it is a step in the right direction. I know that we've talked about rating stuff on like an out of 5 scale. This is like Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon to me are all 2 out of 5 video games.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 3 out of 5 that like you are not far away from a 4 out of 5 or even a 5 out of 5. You are not far.
I think it can start. It's starting to approach just being a good game.
Yes.
Right?
It's kind of that's how I would describe
with
it.
With Pokemon, you come in and you've got compromises. You go, okay, I'm gonna deal with all this because I want my Pokemon. And this game is making me make fewer compromises.
Yes, as someone who did not have the Pokemon sickness, and everything I played after X and Y just pissed me off more and more. And I even said going to this, if this does not turn out okay, this is my last one.
Right.
I'm done. I'm fucking this.
Which is, what a coincidence, because they hit you with a series of stinkers, and then you go, all right, last chance, and they go, all right. And it's okay.
All right. You did it. You hit me with a decade of suck to finally get me on something that I'm pretty cool with.
What excites me here is that I'm feeling, as I mentioned to you guys in the pre-show, I'm feeling a little bit of Yakuza here. All right. And let me expound upon what I mean when I say that. To me, Yakuza is a small but detailed environment with lots to do in it that has character, right? And they've added more of those as the games have gone on, but like really specifically that Shinjuku Kabukicho brought to life with a ton of character and a ton of stuff going on, that is just such a genius format for me. And what this has made me see is I'm like seeing a world where Pokemon takes one core detailed environment, makes it really robust, has a lot of things to go on and do around. I want to be in Pokemon tripping over things to do, right? One of my problems in Scarlet and Violet is that there are vast swaths of nothingness with like kind of interesting environments sometimes, but most of it is empty. And I see a future where that map gets shrunk down and is filled with a lot more interesting stuff. And I really like the format that they started with Legends Arceus. They're continuing here of main quest, side quests, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't done enough side quests to be sure about how they are. I have been a little disappointed that a number of the side quests I've been doing have literally just been, do you have a Pikachu?
Right.
Or do you have a Heracross?
Yeah, they like to do that one.
But Legends Arceus had hey, catch me this Wurmple and then like help me evolve it, and like you would see a little story of a guy getting along with a Wurmple and he really wants a Beautifly, and then he gets a Dustox and he's like, oh, but I'm gonna learn to love this Dustox anyways. And having lots of little side stories like that paired with one MSQ, one, this is your main adventure that goes on along with that, I think that's a great format for Pokemon to go for. Scarlet and Violet doesn't have that. There is no side content to go complete in Scarlet
and the world just, it feels so empty. It feels so fucking empty. Like I got through 2 badges and was just like, I'm good.
Yeah, and so a world where you get your main big gang storyline like a Yakuza, right? Your big thing that's happening, the serious part, and then your wacky side quests that let you enjoy because I think the biggest strength of Pokemon is its mundanity. I think the mundane nature of this world, the mundane parts are fun and charming.
I would love to see like Pokemon with the M-rated parts of Yakuza, like just like we'll chop off your Pikachu's toe. We'll fucking do it. They
got a little bit into that with Legends Arceus, where they were like, these are monsters that can kill you. You should be scared of going outside.
Right.
But only a smidge. They needed to go more.
Yeah. So I'm very high on this game after playing it. Like I cashed in some Best Buy rewards. I told Anthony, I was like, I got bamboozled. They got me to try this. I watched Aaron. I'm so pissed. I watched her gameplay demo. I'm like, that actually does look pretty cool. The real-time battles. And I was like, okay, you know what? This will be the last
that's
one.
The other thing I wanted to talk about too is the real-time battles. I think the real-time battles is a very interesting direction for the series going forward. So
I love it.
I don't know how much you guys engage with VGC. I know that you don't, Ronson, and Aaron, I think you know a smidge about it, maybe.
Sure.
But VGC has been going for so long, right?
Right.
Like you're talking early 2000s is when this started. And that format has reached a level of complexity that it's getting close to the point where it really can't reach a more final state.
Yeah.
And the announcement of Pokemon Champions is basically like it's like a full final culmination of what competitive Pokemon can be. It's going to have all the extra fucking gimmicks. It's going to have Dynamax, Terrestrialization, and Mega Evolutions in it. And it's going to have every Pokemon, and it's going to have all the different, it's going to have single battles and double battles, and it's going to be your one-stop shop for all competitive Pokemon probably going forward. And it seems like they're doing that because they really can't manage making a new version of this in each game now. It's just ended the point where you can possibly bring in new stuff and have it still work and make sense. And it feels like a real-time battle system like this that has a very different meta is a way for them to go, here's another thing you can do with your Pokemon that's kind of competitive. I don't know if either of you have touched it, but there is a ranked battle mode in this game.
I've
There's a ranked
seen
PvP
it.
mode. There is a ranked PvP mode that they have put strong incentives to engage with. Mega Greninja is locked behind the ranked PvP.
How do you get him in the ranked PvP? Do you just play it?
If you get to rank K, then you get Mega Greninja to do the Mega Evolution for Greninja. There's no other way to get the stone to Mega Evolve Greninja.
I guess I will be grinding that game then. I guess I'm going to get real good at Pokemon.
The format's very interesting. It is if you get KO'd at all, it's you pick 3 Pokemon, which has always been their format. It's always a pick 3.
Yeah. All right.
You pick 3 Pokemon from your team. If you have 3 switches, you could switch 3 times, and if any Pokemon gets KO'd, you get sent back to your respawn point. All of your Pokemon are full healed, and you have another 3 switches.
Interesting.
And it is 1v3. It's a 4-person battle royale system, like free for all. And it's point based. The winner is whoever gets the most knockouts out of everyone in the group is the person who actually wins. And there is totally a meta here. There's like actual strategy to be applied.
What is
There's
the current top Pokemon? What's the top Pokemon right now?
It seems like Greninja and Garchomp are both fantastic.
Garchomp.
Mega Garchomp is really good, which is interesting for Mega Garchomp. Mega Garchomp has been the poster child of a Mega Evolution that is worse than its prior evolution historically, because it loses some speed stat. And in the normal competitive format for Pokemon, speed stat is incredibly important. But all of a sudden, in this, speed stat has become a lot less important.
Right.
And Mega Garchomp is trading that speed stat for higher attack, higher bulk. Right. And bulk is now suddenly much more important in this format.
Explains why they didn't have Snorlax. He'd be too good.
Snorlax would actually probably be incredible here. Yeah. With body
I want my fucking Snorlax, god damn it.
Now, I do have one criticism of it in that they have removed abilities from Pokemon, which is, I think, been one of the most interesting nuances of like Pokemon in general, is the ability system. But I could see how it would be hard to implement with this format. So,
yeah.
Okay, well,
it's very interesting.
All right. Well, I mean, anybody, anything else that we want to add before we move on to the other stuff we've been playing?
I think I've just got to echo a lot of what's been said here. I think this is a move in the right direction. I think this is an interesting new way of doing things. I just think they need to expand on it and still make the changes that everyone has been asking. Like, y'all make ridiculous money. You can take this and make a much bigger, much more. A much better experience. Like, you guys are creatively on the right track, but man, technically, you guys can really go somewhere with this that you're not.
If next year we get another one of these and it looks significantly worse than Digimon Time Strangers, I'm gonna be very pissed off.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
one final piece of praise for me: the colors look way better.
That's right. Yeah, they fixed
the Pokemon games have been really desaturated ever since X and Y. And this game isn't. You can see the colors really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So, some other what we've been playing here. I played Ninja Gaiden 4.
Ooh.
I got about. How much did you like the original Ninja Gaidens on like Xbox, and how much do you enjoy Platinum
Not applicable.
games?
I've never played them. Put a little bit of Platinum. I think I like Platinum.
So the way what it kind of reminds me of is if you took like that core Ninja Gaiden, like the difficulty, the speed, the on your toes, and added the floatiness and style of Platinum. I think that the moment to like, I don't think the set pieces are as crazy or as awesome as what you would get out of Bayonetta or Wonderful 101, but it does nail a lot of what Ninja Gaiden is after playing it some more. It's just that I don't think it's the best of Ninja Gaiden, and I don't think it's the best of Platinum is the problem. I'm enjoying it, but it's really hard for me to recommend it unless you are the kind of person who really enjoys this kind of game. It is kind of the definition of a 3 out of 5, where I think it is a stylish as fuck game that is a lot of fun. It does a lot of cool stuff in terms of gameplay. Like, in most games, your parry system.
I was gonna say, would you call it a 3 out of 5, but it's a 4 out of 5 for some, 2 out of 5 for others, making it a 3 out of 5?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good example. Like, it would be really hard for me to recommend this to someone who is not a weirdo like me, who like obsessively played the originals and obsessively plays everything Platinum puts out. Yeah, like I think that it's, and it's just kind of frustrating. That's just not Platinum's best work. I do think there's some really cool stuff here. Like, how in most games parrying is like the block button.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you miss timing, it's the attack button. Oh. So if you parry wrong, you are going to get blown up so bad.
It's the case in Silksong too. It's rough.
Yeah. The art style is great. Like, going through fucked up Tokyo, fucked up Japan's really cool. I can highly recommend that. I will say the boss is definitely, like, the one thing I can really say is the bosses have that Platinum sauce. Like, these boss fights are drag out. You have to use all your skills. You're dodging, you're parrying, you're doing break parries and shit, or this blood break thing. Stylistically, it's really cool. It just doesn't feel like it's the best of either product, I guess, is my big thing I can say. Especially, like, last week I was only a little bit into it, but this week I'm at the halfway point, and yeah, it's cool. I like it. I would not pay the $70 that it costs, even if I was a big fan of, even if this was a 4 out of 5 to me. I would say it feels like a $50 game about, in every regard. I know that some may disagree with that, but
it looks cool. Yeah. I like looking at it.
Yeah, and it does have a super baby easy mode where it auto blocks and auto dodges for you.
Oh, so there's a casual mode. All right.
Yeah, so if you just want to go in and violently murder shit in style without having to worry about dying, you can.
Interesting. Cool. All right.
Yeah. Or you can play it like I am and just be getting your ass pounded into the ground.
Yeah. What else is new? World.
So, yeah, that's just life.
That's good.
Yep.
What'd you play, Aaron? Did you play anything else?
Oh Lord, no. No, I just been messing around in Skate. There's not really anything new to report.
We got a whole.
I don't have anything new to report about my other thing. I played RuneScape Remaster. It's good. I expect more MMOs to end up doing that later.
Gotcha.
We got a list here for you in what we've been playing. Yeah. So I did Keeper. I'm almost at the halfway point of Keeper. That game, really cool. If I feel it's a little too expensive for how long it is. It's a 4.5 hour game. It's $30 though.
$30.
Yeah.
For a 4.5 hour Double Fine game.
Yes. This game has so much goddamn artistic juice.
Okay.
Like the art in this game is fucking mind blowing. Holy shit. Every single screen in this game that I have been on, I'm like, damn, that's gorgeous. Damn, that looks cool. Holy fuck. As for the gameplay, it is very much walking and solving puzzles. It is there's no dialogue. The only text is the bird's name and when it like gives you the button prompts for mechanics.
Okay.
That is it. The entire story, the entire gameplay is directing you through the screen, and it does a great job of doing that. It does a great job of telling you where they need to go, explaining mechanics this way. That's really cool. The music's really good. I think that it feels really weird compared to Double Fine's other games, I will admit. Like when you think of like Psychonauts or Grim Fandango or Brutal Legend, to have a game that is, has no dialogue.
Right.
but it's still doing the Double Fine thing of telling a very good story, having a lot of great art behind it, and then I don't know, the gameplay is fine. That
It's
is what I
fine.
would say. I would say it does a good job for what it is. It's walking, get introduced to a new puzzle mechanic, use it before it gets boring, move on to new puzzle mechanic.
Gotcha.
So like
limbo in that sense.
yes, I would say it's a faster limbo because like the beginning of the game teach you how to walk, then teach you how to use the light, then how to interact with the light, then to how to use the light to direct things, and then learning how to direct the bird and the light at the same time. And then the most recent one is like showing me how to build bridges with the light. So yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. It has all that Double Fine juice. I can't wait to fully report on it. Yeah, I'll probably support it next week when I'm done with it. But in my first 2 sessions with it have been incredibly positive. So
it's good. Well, you're next on this list. I am very curious to hear about. So how is Dispatch?
That game is incredibly well written and very cool. I wish it had more of its management gameplay. I just wish there was more of it. So the way they're releasing this is 2 episodes at a time each week. So the entire game doesn't get spoiled, because there would be people like my girlfriend and I who are playing it together who would finish all 8 episodes in a day.
Right.
If given the opportunity. The first 2 episodes are like all like 90 minutes to 2 hours. That's, you know, Anthony's done a couple playthroughs of it. I've done the one with my girlfriend. It is very Telltale. It has the quick time events. It has the dialogue choices. It has so-and-so remember that. So-and-so likes you fondly. All the Telltale stuff you would imagine. But then the management sim is a ton of fun. And it actually seems like it's affecting the story and people's opinion of you and whatnot, at least from what I could tell. I just wish there was more of it. In the first 2 episodes, I only got to do 2 sessions of the actual management sim part.
I see.
I imagine they'll expand on that as you get further in.
I hope so, because like in the first episode, you do the tutorial one, and the second episode, you do your first full work day. And at the end of it, you kind of make decisions in a live call, more similar to our standard Telltale game. I really like what they're doing for the narrative. All the characters are really cool. It looks amazing. It runs great on deck, runs great on Ally. Yeah, I'm pretty positive on the writing in the first 2 episodes. The story, I'm a sucker for, you know, taking something like superheroes or sci-fi or whatever, and then putting it in a kind of mundane setting. In this case, you're basically working in a call center.
Right.
You know, superhero call center. So yeah.
Cool.
No, I'm yeah, it's cool. There's not much to say on it yet, because it is what you would expect. It is go and do, you know, a Telltale mini game. Then you have the hacking mini game, and then you have the management. And the hacking mini game is just like go down path, figure out what paths lead to what.
Right.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Very funny. Yeah. So my other stuff is kind of quick hits. Battlefield 6, I continue to keep playing. I unlocked C4, and I figured that, and I've seen clips of people strapping C4 to drones.
All right.
And I did, what I did not realize is that strains your battery super fast on the drone. So I didn't get my drone moving fast enough. So the first time I did it, I blew myself up in the building I was in.
Hey, all right. Yeah. That'll happen.
The second time I did it, though, I flew it up to a helicopter and blew him up. So,
all right.
You know, I figured, I realized, oh, it drains the battery super fast. Shit. So there's that. Let's see. Next up. But that was basically it. I finally finished Donkey Kong Bonanza.
All right. Yes, finally.
5 out of 5. It's one of the 2 best games of the year by far. Like, it's that and Expedition 33 have been heads and shoulders above everything else I've played. Looks great. It does have some frame rate issues during 3 specific boss fights, but otherwise runs great.
Okay.
It every single level is some goofy new mechanic and new fun toy to play with. And the last boss fight is very unexpected, has some throwbacks to a bunch of really cool old shit. I have nothing but good things to say about that ending. When I got done with that ending, I sent you and Anthony, Aaron, like these lengthy texts, like, holy fuck.
Yep.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it because the ending is so goddamn cool, especially if you've played any older Donkey Kong games.
Cool.
All
right.
And then I drove an Ally X as my primary handheld for 1 full week.
How'd that go?
I'm going to say the nice stuff first. I do like having the option to plug it in and have more horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
That is really nice because it ups wattage when you're plugged in. It is nice for certain games like Keeper, games that need a little more oomph. The extra compatibility stuff is nice. Being able to play Dragon Ball FighterZ on a handheld, that's a big win. You know, like that's a big win. You know, I can't do that on a Steam Deck because of anti-cheat problems.
Right.
The same thing with Call of Duty. Call of Duty is actually really good on a handheld, surprisingly.
Okay.
I liked the fact that it is not as wide as a Steam Deck. A Steam Deck is very wide because of the touchpads. This, while a little bit heavier, is a little more shrunk in. And that makes it easier if you're like lying down. You can put it up to your face like this and not feel like you're holding a goddamn cutting board.
Right.
So that's another nice thing I have to say about it. 1080p, it's nice and crisp. And then I think the Xbox OS, while not good, is a step in a right direction. So that's all the nice things I have to say.
Got it.
I think that the setup for this thing sucks. I think it's really terrible. I think that the level of fiddling that goes into this thing, even like once you're all set up and you have everything updated and you've gone into Windows, you updated everything on that end, even then the amount of fiddling with it sucks. Because let's say I want to boot into a Steam game. Okay, I'll boot into a Steam game from the Xbox full screen experience. And it'll bring up the game, it'll bring up Steam, but not Steam Big Picture mode, regular Steam. And then it'll bring up the game. But then when I exit out of the game, I'm stuck in regular Steam that I have to navigate with a fucking controller.
Right.
Yeah. That's not ideal.
You know, the actual Xbox full screen experience for the games within it is super. It's not like too laggy, but it is definitely not as snappy as Big Picture or my Steam Deck. I miss my OLED screen on my Steam Deck OLED. I miss the colors. I miss the UI. It's ergonomic, but it's not as ergonomic as a deck. Like, it's better than what I get out of a Switch or a Switch 2, which is just a flat slab. This at least has some thing I can grab if I want to and not like hurt my hands. So that's nice. I am shocked at the amount of games they have not gotten Play Anywhere support for. So I own Control on Xbox. When I click on it, it asks me if I want to stream it or buy it on Xbox for PC. Same thing with Batman. Same thing for a bunch of these other games. It actually really goddamn bothered me. Like in a big way. Like some of them work fine. Like Cuphead, no, you can download it, works okay. And then of course they'll list 360 games with the 360 logo and just be like, play with cloud with a subscription. That pisses me off to no end every time I see it, especially when I'm perusing through my Xbox library and I'm like, oh dude, they got Guardians of the Galaxy on here. I'm like, buy it again, sucker. Pisses me off every time I see it.
Right.
And then something that I've noticed that is weird for me is some games that I have purchased, like the install button will take a long time to load, which is weird for some reason. So yeah, that's obnoxious. Their compatibility system is also weird. Because there'll be some games where like it'll run great on handheld, but we also don't have performance data for your system. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How do you know if it's going to run great on handheld, but you don't have performance metrics for the system? So there's that. Just it just feels so fucking half-baked. Well, like that's all the best way I can put it is it just feels really half-baked.
Right.
The majority of my library, at least, that is on both is not Play Anywhere. So that really feels like a kick in the dick. Like, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Oh, play with your cloud subscription. Womp womp. Womp 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 womp. Just
not ideal.
like when I am done with this experiment, which will be in the coming weeks, I'm honestly considering keeping a Windows install to play the games that like only work on this, like your Dragon Ball Fighters, your Call of Duties, your Halo Wars, and because emulation's a little easier with it, and then everything else, and then just dual booting into Bazite. Also, fun fact: even with the stripped down OS, Bazite runs better.
Well.
Yep.
All right.
So it just feels half-baked and unfinished, and there are parts of, like, the biggest win I can say is the compatibility stuff is great. The fact that I can play anything no matter what is fantastic. Like, if I want to install 2X, I can't install 2XKO on a Steam Deck. It will not work. That does not work. They anti-cheat. I installed on the Ally, and it runs. It works good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing
for it.
Yeah, like that's a huge win is the compatibility stuff, and I'm hoping Valve can get that worked out because every other part of the Steam Deck experience is better. The UI is better. It loads faster. Even though the chip isn't as powerful, you get pretty comparable performance. Especially at the wattage the Steam Deck is locked to versus this thing, which can get higher wattage, but also will drain battery like fucking crazy if you do that. Yeah, I don't know. I still think Valve is the closest thing to having a PC console experience figured out. And Microsoft's first step into it seems very half-hearted and lazy as fuck. So, I mean, it seems like it literally feels like they never touched a Steam Deck once when making this, or talked to a customer who wasn't a giant PC dork already.
Right. Well,
So yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna keep daily driving it.
Okay.
Especially because it is in the. I got about another. I got another week of it in me. I say I'm gonna try some emulation stuff. I'm gonna mess around with continuing to play Keeper and a couple other games on it, but my first impression so far is I would almost never pick this over a Steam Deck unless it's a game like Ninja Gaiden where I need significantly more power to get the best out of it, or it is a game that will not run on it like Dragon Ball Fighters.
Right.
In every other instance, if it is a game that runs almost the same, maybe a little worse on deck,
you're gonna go with that.
I'm gonna go with the deck because in every other way, it's a better experience. Battery life better, screen better, ergonomics better. Like, so that's my first impression after a week with it. Anyway, that's a show. Sorry we ran long to everybody.
Hey, it
was
a week with a lot of news. And
there was a lot to talk about.
Yep.
Microsoft, please stop talking. Please stop, please. I'm begging.
Yeah.
I'm begging Microsoft to just get out of the news.
Just exit the news cycle.
You can do it.
Please stop.
I believe in you.
I do believe.
All right. That's it. That's the show. We're on Discord.
That's
if you want to join our Discord, we're on YouTube. We're posting stuff on the YouTube to watch. We're on your favorite podcast app, probably. And we're on social media if you need to reach out to us. So that's it.
Subscribe or I'll eat an unhealthy amount of wood.
Don't do that.
Right?
Don't do that.
How
Well, they better subscribe then.
how much wood could a Duncan chuck if a Duncan chuck could chuck wood?
Well, a Duncan Chuck would chuck all the wood he could chuck if a Duncan Chuck could chuck wood.
There we go. We answered the question.
All right.
All right. See you next week. We might stream Luigi's Mansion or Left 4 Dead during Halloween week.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.